Chapter 1901 Formation Calm Sea Area. 5 lumps of white light, flashing abruptly in the sky, brought Fang Yuan, Miao Mingshen and the others from the Merit Obelisk to here. All 5 of them were familiar with the mission and headed down to get a bird's-eye view, each of them activating their investigative killer moves. Fang Yuan was the first to observe the area and take a closer look. His investigative methods had always been his shortcoming, but that was only relative to his enemies. When compared to Miao Mingshen and the others, even his weaker aspects were still far superior to them. This was a vast sea area. The sea was raging, creating thousands of fierce waves. They were so powerful that countless sea beasts could be seen within the reflections of these ripples. In this sea, there were 5 small islands. First was Jade Shaking Island with countless jade pillars, chiming and tinkling due to powerful winds. Second was White Bone Island. It was pale white and had the corpses of beasts scattered around. Third was Hidden Space Island. It seemed illusory as if it did not exist. Fourth was Swordwind Island. There were 3 tornadoes on the island that would never stop moving. And fifth was Treasure Moon Island. It was crescent-shaped and was shrouded by the night sky at all times. Every inch of sand on this island shined with faint moonlight. 3 of these 5 islands had begun to drift slowly with the current. Among them, Swordwind Island had the fastest flow and confusing direction of movement. For the remaining 2 islands, Jade Shaking Island was in danger. The pillars underneath the island were broken, and in a little while, just like the 3 islands, it would start to drift away on the sea surface. As for Hidden Space Island, however, it was very stable and remained firmly entrenched in the distance. This was because this island was filled with phantom path Dao marks. The main cause of the island's drifting was the impact currents that ran deep under the sea. These currents had become so large that they endangered the sea itself. Suppressing the currents, restructuring the ecology of the sea, and restoring the former 5 islands chain were the contents of this large-sized mission. Fang Yuan started to make calculations and deductions in his mind. There were indications that this sea area had originally formed an intrinsic ecology with the 5 islands chain as its core. Impact currents did not exist before, but now they were like a shark in a calm pond, causing severe destruction to the habitat and ecology of this sea area. While Fang Yuan made his deductions, Miao Mingshen and the rest also explored this entire sea area with their investigative methods. They frowned and had serious expressions. This is a large-sized mission. The difficulty is several times higher than a mid-sized mission. Hua Dai's heart sank steeply. Feng Zhang had an ugly expression as he thought. I tried my best earlier to improve the ecology of Beehive Island, but it was still imperfect. This large-sized mission is not about balancing the ecology, but restructuring it. Each island is in greater danger than Beehive Island itself. And the 5 islands are only part of the mission. There's still a large sea area and the underwater impact currents to resolve. This is very complex. To restructure the habitat of the sea area, we would need to change everything and meticulously alter the details. Without a wisdom path GU Immortal, we will need to make many experiments and attempt the restructuring step by step. During this process, we would make many mistakes. Gui Qi sighed in his heart. Miao Mingshen was calculating the gains and losses. The mid-sized mission I just completed expended a large amount of my rank 7 immortal materials. To restructure the ecology of this place, the resources invested, the immortal essence consumed and the energy spent will be an extremely large sum. The more Miao Mingshen and the rest observed, the faster their morale slipped away. The difficulty of the large-sized mission made them feel like giving up. The truth was, they started to regret it. Following Fang Yuan blindly to accept this mission was not a wise decision. Brother Chu, let's plan together. At this point, Miao Mingshen could only smile bitterly and find Fang Yuan to discuss their actions. He was not going to give up on it. Just because they took the mission did not mean they could abandon it. In fact, in order to give up the mission, they needed to exchange for another title. Bright light flashed in Fang Yuan's eyes. With both Time Path Clone and Fang Yuan making deductions at the same time, he had already arrived at a perfect plan. He cupped his fists at Miao Mingshen. Brother Miao, I have already planned something. Follow my instructions and we will definitely complete the mission. Miao Mingshen was stunned. Although he did not believe it in his heart, he nodded without rebuking. Please give the instructions, Brother Chu, we will do our best. Fang Yuan laughed heartily. Brother Miao is too polite. It will be good for both of us if we work together to complete this mission. The better we complete a large-sized mission, the greater the returns compared to a mid-sized mission. I'm only afraid we can't complete it well. Miao Mingshen sighed internally but did not say anything. He had already lost confidence in himself. He could only place his hopes on Fang Yuan now. But Fang Yuan's words were comfortable for him to hear. Fang Yuan was not high and mighty, but rather he had an attitude of equal cooperation. This was different from Shen Kong Shang. Brother Miao, I want you to occupy Jade Shaking Island to guard against the impact currents. Please ask Gui Qi to station at Swordwind Island and make sure that it doesn't wander off. Ask Feng Zhang and Fairy Hua Dai to guard Treasure Moon Island and White Bone Island respectively. I'm going to deal with Hidden Space Island first. Fang Yuan made the arrangements. Miao Mingshen's group was clueless to begin with, they followed Fang Yuan's instructions. With the four immortals in action, the islands were quickly suppressed, no longer drifting with the current, their speed of movement fell to a level that could be controlled. Watching Fang Yuan descend on Hidden Space Island, the four immortals had doubts in their hearts. Hidden Space Island is a phantom path island, it is the most stable place in the entire sea area, it is also the easiest part of the mission. Why is Chu Ying trying to deal with this island first? He should fix the other islands before trying to fix this Hidden Space Island. After all, this island is almost non-existent, by dealing with it first, he will cause some obstruction when handling the other islands later. In my opinion, he should deal with the impact currents first. It is the cause behind the collapse of the five islands chain. To restructure the ecology here, one has to deal with the root cause at the start. Fang Yuan landed on Hidden Space Island, quickly flying out afterwards, his speed was shocking to Miao Mingshen and the rest. Fang Yuan went to White Bone Island. Under Hua Dai's observation, Fang Yuan took out immortal materials from his immortal aperture and threw them around at will. He is setting up a formation. Hua Dai was seeing Fang Yuan create a formation for the first time. Fang Yuan was skillful and experienced, the process was very fluid, Hua Dai watched with a sense of appreciation and amazement. Soon, Fang Yuan finished setting up the formation. Hua Dai's mouth opened with deep shock, she could not close it. Chu Ying actually used immortal materials to set up a formation. Doesn't this mean he has Grandmaster attainment in formation path? So he is not a transformation path GU immortal but a formation path GU immortal. No, not true, when he defeated Jie Wen and saved us, he clearly used transformation path methods. Don't tell me, he cultivates two paths. It was not that rare for GU immortals to cultivate two paths. But for Fang Yuan to be so proficient in both paths, with such high attainment, it was very rare. White Bone Island's arrangements were done, Fang Yuan activated this sub-formation and connected it to the main formation on Hidden Space Island. Due to the effect of the immortal formation, White Bone Island shook intensely, it anchored itself to the sea and showed no signs of movement anymore. Hua Dai finally understood Fang Yuan's intentions, so he was using Hidden Space Island as the base to stabilize the other islands around it. Amazing, Hidden Space Island is the best foundation for this chain, because the impact currents are useless against it. But Hua Dai soon realized a flaw. But the other islands are using Hidden Space Island as the anchor, this is the power of a formation, these impact currents will still hit these islands over time, as the formation continues to get damaged, it would break eventually, these islands will still float away in the end. Fang Yuan did not show any inclination to dispel her doubts, soon after, he landed on the three remaining islands and set up his formation, stabilizing them all. Miao Mingshen and the rest looked at Fang Yuan with complex gazes. Fang Yuan's formation path attainment was too shocking to them. Formation path grandmasters were very rare. And earlier, Fang Yuan's transformation path attainment was also exemplary. With such strength, the mysteriousness of Fang Yuan intensified in the immortals' hearts. However, stabilizing the 5 sea islands is just a good start. The real problem are the impact currents around the sea islands. Without water path methods, how can we deal with the sea currents? Miao Mingshen and the rest talked among themselves. They could not transmit their voices in Dragon Whale Paradise, but they could still use information path mortal GU like letter pigeon GU. The impact currents that rampaged in this sea area were too huge, Miao Mingshen and the rest could only think of using immortal methods to attack the impact currents and destroy them bit by bit. This method was crude and wasted a lot of time and immortal essence, the biggest flaw was that attacking these currents would cause tremendous damage to the surrounding sea area. But other than that, Miao Mingshen and the rest did not have any good ideas. Boom! Right at this time, Fang Yuan rose to the sky and activated the entire GU formation. Each of the 5 islands blossomed with rushing pillars of light of various colors, the power of the GU formation soared upwards, breaking through its original limit. So this is the true power of the formation. Miao Mingshen and the rest had changes of expressions, they were dumbfounded. These 5 islands' Dao marks were so dense that they could also be seen as a single gigantic immortal material. The immortal formation that Fang Yuan had set up naturally included them within the range that could be utilized. I am going to draw in the impact currents now. Everyone, continue to defend your islands. If any beasts attack or if any waves approach that would endanger the islands, I need you to stop them. Fang Yuan called out as his voice resounded in the sea area. Miao Mingshen and the rest quickly responded, saying they would do their best. The formation buzzed and the 5 pillars of light gradually dissipated, turning into white light that scattered in the sky. The light went into the seawater, staining the water around the island with a beautiful illusion of white light. In this illusory white light, the impact currents were like a blue whale that had been stirred up by fish and shrimps, slowly moving its body, then swimming faster and crashing towards Jade Shaking Island, which was the closest. Miao Mingshen, who was on Jade Shaking Island, gritted his teeth. He felt tremendous pressure, tensing up and going on full alert. If the Immortal Formation's defense was not enough, such a sea current could completely crush Jade Shaking Island if it hit directly. Boom! The impact currents touched the formation and created a startling explosion. A huge wave, up to 10 feet high, pounded at Jade Shaking Island. Miao Mingshen immediately flew up with a cry, using his killer move to resist it. The impact currents were slowly turned around by this and moved to the left of Jade Shaking Island. But before they could move away, they were drawn back by White Bone Island's Immortal Formation. The one guarding White Bone Island was Hua Dai, and she almost groaned when she saw the sea current coming towards her. In the discussions of Miao Mingshen's group, the impact current was to be repelled and slowly weakened. The best outcome was to break it up and scatter it completely. But Fang Yuan was actually attracting the impact currents actively to hit the sea islands. This was something that Miao Mingshen and the rest wanted to avoid at all costs. Chu Ying is too crazy. Hua Dai soon had no time to think as the impact currents crashed into White Bone Island. The entire formation resounded with a scary creaking sound before a huge wave was created. There were also many sea beasts caught in the waves. Hua Dai put up her best effort to resist them. Like this, the impact currents, under the constant manipulation of Fang Yuan, hit the 5 islands one after another. With each impact, the power of the currents was reduced by 1 level. They then circled around the island and became drawn to the next point. After the impact currents crashed into the last island, they had less than half the power and momentum as before. At this time, Fang Yuan activated the Immortal Formation once again, actually making the impact currents turn around and crash into the second last island. Thus, the GU Immortals defending the sea islands felt great fear again. After the impact currents struck 5 times and returned to Jade Shaking Island, the power of the currents hitting the island was almost non-existent. They had almost turned to being ordinary currents. The 5 islands shook lightly as the Immortal Formation stabilized completely. The impact currents quickly calmed down and began to flow at an even rate consistently. In contrast, the hearts of the 4 GU Immortals stirred with huge waves of disbelief and shock. They did not expect that Fang Yuan would resolve the impact currents using such a method. The impact currents, while still present, had become a protective layer that surrounded the island. Around the 5 islands, the impact currents flowed rapidly, faster than ordinary seawater, protecting the 5 islands while at the same time, helping the Immortal Formation to stabilize the 5 islands' location. If they had followed the plan of Miao Mingshen and the others to destroy the impact currents, this sea area would surely be destroyed beyond recognition. Fang Yuan's move, however, cleverly avoided this drawback and instead made full use of the impact currents, turning the original calamity into a blessing and greatly enhancing the natural foundation of this sea area. This was truly an incredible achievement. Miao Mingshen and the others were all impressed. It was really difficult to do this. Not to mention the arrangement of the Immortal Formation, just the matter of manipulating impact currents alone, even Waterpath GU Immortals were not even capable of doing that. To perfectly weaken the impact currents to a certain level, one needed to make precise calculations and deductions. When the impact currents returned to Jade Shaking Island, their power must be reduced to almost nothing. A bit more or a bit less would have greatly affected the overall situation and would not have gotten the incredible near-perfect balance it had now. The biggest problem has been resolved. The next step will be for you to repair the Immortal Formation, as well as restructuring the ecology of the island. As for the things beyond the impact currents, you can ignore them. Fang Yuan smiled. He was quite satisfied with this result. If new impact currents formed, these existing currents would engulf them and protect the islands under the effect of the Immortal Formation. Fang Yuan would leave his will and a large amount of immortal essence here. As long as they remained, the 5 islands chain would be very safe. Chapter 1902 Bullying Rank A. The impact currents were like hungry tigers at first, but after Fang Yuan's arrangements, they became the pet cats that defended the 5 islands chain. After Fang Yuan completed this setup, the situation was already resolved. What followed were some finishing touches. These were not hard to do, but they were quite strenuous and required time and effort. Fang Yuan was not going to bother himself with them. Thus, Fang Yuan discussed with Miao Mingshen. They left Feng Zhang and Fairy Hua Dai here while the rest returned with him. White light shined. Fang Yuan, Miao Mingshen, and Gui Qi returned to the starting island. Ren Shuping was currently looking at the missions on this merit point. He was an enslavement path Gu Immortal. He had many desolate beasts and a few ancient desolate beasts in his hands. These beasts all had various abilities, his methods were quite wide-ranging. However, even Ren Shuping still felt the difficulty of mid-sized missions. Fang Yuan and the others appeared beside him, causing his heart to jump as he secretly thought, how could these three suddenly appear at the same time? Is it a coincidence? Fang Yuan nodded at Ren Shuping and smiled slightly. Ren Shuping was stunned. This unexpected attitude of Fang Yuan made him not know how to respond for a moment. Fang Yuan walked towards him as the obelisk's words transformed, showing all of its large-sized missions. Fang Yuan swept his gaze around it and quickly received one of the missions. Next, he shared this with Miao Mingshen and Gui Qi. With another flash of light, the three of them vanished on the spot. Ren Shuping watched the entire process, his expression turned grim. Chu Ying received a different level of mission from me, it is one tier higher. It seems that his merit points fell earlier because he was exchanging for another title to receive higher tier missions. This is very likely to be the title, really good person. The title of good person could exchange for mid-sized missions, while really good person could exchange for large-sized missions. This was a simple relationship, the GU Immortals could easily guess it just by seeing the names. But the problem was, so what if they realized it? Mid-sized missions are already so hard, large-sized missions must be even harder. Ren Shuping felt gloomy internally, and why were Miao Mingshen and Gui Qi able to move together with Chu Ying? Did they receive the same mission? This discovery was quite alluring to Ren Shuping. Mid-sized missions were difficult, but if they had help, the difficulty would be shifted. Even though the merit points would be divided if many people receive the same missions, as long as we control it well, our efficiency at completing missions will increase, our overall gains will increase instead. Isn't Chu Ying doing the exact same thing now? Ren Shuping was a savvy person. After thinking about it, he understood Fang Yuan's intentions. Fang Yuan did not plan to hide it, in fact, he had purposely released the information. Miao Mingshen's group could be roped in as allies, why couldn't Ren Shuping? Their hatred earlier, how could hatred compare to the benefits in front of them? Ren Shuping was not crazy, he was astute, thus, there was a chance of cooperation. Ren Shuping definitely had an alliance agreement with Shen clan. But it did not matter. The merit obelisk had such rewards that could eliminate the agreement restraints on a GU Immortal. Even without Fang Yuan's reminder, Ren Shuping must have seen that himself already. The second large-sized mission was naturally harder than mid-sized missions, but it was no problem for Fang Yuan. After spending some effort, Fang Yuan resolved the big issues and left Miao Mingshen and Gui Qi to settle the minor problems. When he returned to the merit obelisk again, he waited a little while before Hua Dai and Feng Zhang returned. Their return meant that the first large-sized mission was completed. Fang Yuan gained 500 merit points, while Miao Mingshen and the rest each gained around 80 points. Fang Yuan looked at the numbers on the merit board as he calculated, this large-sized mission gave a total of 973 points. Fang Yuan and Miao Mingshen's group split up these points. Fang Yuan gained the bulk of them, getting 500 points was about the same as completing a large-sized mission alone. Except that he spent way less time and effort on it. Hua Dai and Feng Zhang looked at each other, seeing the joy in each other's eyes. In this mission, they helped Fang Yuan resist the waves and settle the minor problems at the end. They only spent some immortal essence, time, and effort, but they gained more than 80 merit points from it. Feng Zhang thought about the Beehive Island mission he completed alone. He spent a group of bees, including his desolate beast Yellow Yirobi, but only got 80 points in the end. Comparing the two, helping Fang Yuan complete a large-sized mission was much easier and reaped greater rewards. Go and join with Miao Mingshen to complete the second mission. I'd advise that we should all exchange for a group title. With a group title, we will be able to communicate with each other. Fang Yuan suggested. A group title was not cheap, it required 100 merit points. But Feng Zhang and Hua Dai did not hesitate, they listened to Fang Yuan and exchanged for this title. Fang Yuan shared the second mission with them as Feng Zhang and Hua Dai teleported to where Miao Mingshen and Gui Qi were. Fang Yuan received the third large-sized mission and went ahead to deal with it. After Miao Mingshen and the rest completed the second mission and returned to the starting island, the 4 immortals gained a sum of merit points listed on the merit board. Miao Mingshen and Gui Qi also spent merit points to exchange for a group title. It allowed the 4 immortals to communicate with Fang Yuan constantly. At this point, Fang Yuan already completed his arrangements in the new mission. He shared it with Miao Mingshen and group. Miao Mingshen and the rest touched the obelisk and accepted the mission Fang Yuan shared with them. They were transported to Fang Yuan. He gave them some instructions before returning to look at the next mission on the merit obelisk. Fang Yuan had an advantage in cultivating every path. His value was fully displayed here. Even for Shen Kongsheng, many of the missions here were impossible to complete, but Fang Yuan, from his perspective, had methods to solve most missions. What he had to do was to choose those that would give him the most benefits and complete them first. With the help of Miao Mingshen and the others, Fang Yuan saved a lot of time and effort, while they were also gaining much more merit points now due to the help of Fang Yuan. The cooperation between them was of mutual benefit, but it was a problem for Ren Shuping and Shen Kongsheng. These people watched as Miao Mingshen's group rose in position on the merit board, surpassing them and becoming part of the top rankers. It was truly infuriating, but there was nothing they could do. Looking at Fang Yuan's merit points, he had reached several thousand. He was truly ahead, far surpassing any other immortal. Because of their huge difference, the immortals lost all desire to catch up to him. Immortal Gu need at least 10,000 merit points to exchange. Chu Ying is not far away already. Many people saw this and felt complex emotions. They were in admiration but also felt dejection. This is so strange. How can Chu Ying successfully complete so many different types of missions? He must know many secrets about this place. It is a pity that we cannot fight inside here. Miao Mingshen and his group have truly dog shit luck. How could they gain the help of Chu Ying like this? The immortals were extremely jealous. Shen Kongsheng sighed. The number of times he had sighed in the last 10 days was more than the sum of the previous few years. The ranking on the merit board was very glaring. Shen Kongsheng's position was even lower than Hua Dai and Feng Zhang. He was a great rank 8 GU immortal. He actually was losing to 2 rank 6 GU immortals. How could he allow this? It was too embarrassing. If I can receive a large-sized mission, my rank 8 strength will be fully utilized. I will definitely gain a lot of merit points. But how can I let others receive the same mission as me? The really good person title was obvious, but what was the title to share missions? They needed to test this. And these experiments would test Shen Kongsheng's luck. Their merit points would also be wasted. This would aggravate their situation from the already terrible situation now. I can make my Shen Clan GU immortals use their merit points, but what about Ren Shuping and Tong Hua? If I do that, will I just push them towards Chu Ying's side? Shen Kongsheng had some reservations. He knew that his influence was continuously falling now. After learning that GU immortal agreements could be removed using the rewards on the merit obelisk, Shen Kongsheng became more cautious regarding his attitude towards Ren Shuping and others. Fang Yuan and Miao Mingshen could cooperate to do missions together. He had a good lead. Shen Kongsheng wanted to copy him. He had to unite Ren Shuping and Tong Hua. These two people cultivated paths that Shen Clan lacked. Shen Kongsheng was already regretting it. He should not have forced Miao Mingshen and the rest to spend their merit points to exchange for different rewards. This action made the immortals go against him mentally. It was a wise action back then, but now it was a terrible idea. This was not Shen Kongsheng's fault. After all, he did not know anything about the merit obelisk earlier. The decisions he made back then was very appropriate due to the circumstances. There were many types of missions on the merit obelisk. Mid-sized missions started to become difficult. Thus, the more paths one cultivated, the more advantage they would have in completing missions. Fang Yuan had already united Miao Mingshen and the rest. Shen Kongsheng started to learn from his mistake. He became more gentle in his approach towards Ren Shuping and Tong Hua. His rank 8 reputation was still around, while Ren Shuping's alliance agreement was not removed yet, and most importantly, Ren Shuping had a grudge against Chu Ying and Miao Mingshen. All these reasons ensured that Ren Shuping and Tong Hua were still on Shen Clan's side. When Fang Yuan returned to the merit obelisk, a new large-sized mission appeared. The demonic immortal in Regret Crying Sea has lost his senses. Please cooperate with the formation and kill him. Regret Crying Sea appeared. Fang Yuan was slightly stunned before accepting this mission. At this point, 4 missions regarding the Merman City had appeared, but the Merman Saintess selection competition had not started yet. The influence of Fang Yuan's rebirth had greatly altered the missions on the merit obelisk. With this mission, Fang Yuan would be able to retrieve Regret GU earlier. This was a great thing. Once he gets regret GU, he would be able to advance his immortal GU to a higher rank, his progress would be faster than in his previous life. Chapter 1903 Response GU. The sky was cloudy, there were vicious winds and choppy waves. This was regret crying sea area. Fang Yuan and Miao Mingshen's group had already been here for some time. I regret it. I should not have killed so many people. I painfully regret it. I should not have chased after power. It would have been much better if I had stayed behind to look after my parents as a filial son. I truly repent. I deceived everyone and concealed immortal GU. I let a friend, who trusted me the most, carry the blame so I could get benefits. Waves of crying sounds resounded in the immortals' ears like immortal killer moves that messed with their emotions. This was the center of the regret crying sea area. Miao Mingshen and the rest stayed in the sky while watching Fang Yuan, who was in deep contemplation. They waited patiently. Even though they did not have much formation path foundation, they also found the grand formation at the bottom of the sea. This was clearly the work of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Miao Mingshen and the rest looked at it and felt how minuscule they were. Fang Yuan was like this in his previous life. He sighed that this formation was as vast as the sky. He would need at least dozens of years to comprehend all the profundities of this large formation. But now, this time needed decreased drastically. I need about 8 years to fully comprehend and gain complete understanding of this formation. Fang Yuan thought. The reason for such an improvement was none other than Fang Yuan's Earth Path attainment level. In the previous life, Fang Yuan did not have Grandmaster attainment level in Earth Path, but this formation was a super immortal formation that was primarily Earth Path. There are no actions from regret GU. Fang Yuan stared at a certain area at the bottom of the sea. Fang Yuan was not surprised by this situation. In order to stay in Dragon Whale Paradise, Fang Yuan destroyed the Stone Lotus Island in advance. Without the Stone Lotus Island, the Venerable method used on regret GU could not find its location. How could it activate? According to the memories that Fang Yuan obtained on the Stone Lotus Island, Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had entered the Stone Lotus Island and borrowed regret GU. Even though the Stone Lotus Island had Red Lotus, will in his lingering methods, how could it resist a living Venerable? Red Lotus, Will gave in, allowing Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable to borrow regret GU. He even wanted to snatch Red Lotus, inheritor. This inheritor was naturally Fang Yuan. In the previous life, Fang Yuan chose the Stone Lotus Island, but this time, he took everything from the Stone Lotus Island in advance. He came to the Dragon Whale Paradise because he wanted to inherit this Paradise Earth true inheritance. In the previous life, regret GU flew out and transported me away. Right now, it is showing no signs of movement. It seems that I need to take action myself. Fang Yuan gained some realization. Venerable methods were grand and powerful. Fang Yuan was teleported by regret GU to the Stone Lotus Island without putting up resistance. Seeing that regret GU did not activate, Fang Yuan was quite happy about it. After comprehending it for several hours, Fang Yuan recollected his scattered thoughts. He thought about it for a moment before saying to Miao Mingshen, "We need to use the formation to get rid of this demonic immortal." However, when Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable set up this formation, even though it has unparalleled power, it can only suppress and seal. It has no offensive power. My idea is, we will set up a supplementary formation outside and activate it to kill the demonic immortal trapped within the formation. Miao Mingshen and the rest nodded upon hearing this idea. They agreed with it. If they tried to break the formation and release the demonic immortal, it would be extremely dangerous. It was obvious that this mysterious demonic immortal was someone of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's generation. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable had died already, but this demonic immortal was still alive. In terms of lifespan, he had already lived for more than 100,000 years. Who could live for so long? Even Primordial Origin Immortal Venerable, who had the longest lifespan among Venerables, only lived for 25,000 years. Having a longer lifespan than a Venerable, just this point alone made the demonic immortal extremely terrifying. Everyone, no need to overestimate the demonic immortal. Fang Yuan smiled. This formation has a lifespan extension method in addition to its sealing ability. This demonic immortal is in constant hibernation to extend his lifespan. This is the reason he is still alive. Miao Mingshen and the rest showed a more relaxed expression after he said that. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable is truly merciful. Not only did he not kill the person, after suppressing this demonic immortal, he even extended his lifespan. Does Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable have Heavenly Court's lifespan extension method? According to Heavenly Court's method, not only 100,000 years, they can hibernate for millions of years. Sigh, how can we possibly try to understand the method of a Venerable? Fang Yuan turned his gaze to Miao Mingshen and said, but for me to set up the supplementary formation, I need a GU Immortal to suppress each formation core. When the supplementary formation is activated, the more GU Immortals there are and the more formation cores there are, the greater the power of the supplementary formation will be. And in my plan, I need at least 8 GU Immortals to suppress the formation cores. The good feelings of Miao Mingshen and the rest faded away. Including Fang Yuan, there were only 5 GU Immortals here. Fang Yuan's words meant that they had to invite at least 3 more people. That was an interesting situation. Because with the addition of Zheng Luozi and Tu Tu Tuo, they still needed 1 person. And other than Shen Clan's GU Immortals, there were only Ren Shuping and Tong Hua left. This was not acceptable to Miao Mingshen's group. Shen Clan had suppressed them, while Ren Shuping was their enemy and Tong Hua was a traitor. Who do they invite? Gui Qiyi, Hua Dai, and Feng Zhang showed difficult expressions. However, Miao Mingshen smiled and responded sincerely. Brother Chu, the most important thing right now is the Paradise Earth True Inheritance. It is a rare opportunity, so we should seize it. This is such a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. What hatred do we have that we can't put aside for a while? If we want to settle the score, we can do it after we leave. In my opinion, Zheng Luozi and Tu Tu Tuo can be invited, Ren Shuping and Tong Hua can also be invited, and it will be even better if Shen Clan's GU Immortals can also come. After saying that, Miao Mingshen added an additional sentence, of course, everything is up to you, Brother Chu. Gui Qiyi and the other immortals' expressions changed, they wanted to say something but after Miao Mingshen's statement, they could not say anything. Fang Yuan laughed loudly, Miao Mingshen was truly Miao Mingshen after all. Fang Yuan said warmly, Brother Miao is truly magnanimous, I am in deep admiration. Let's do that, I will set up a few supplementary formations first. The 4 of you will guard a formation core each and activate the formations to infiltrate the underwater formation. After that, I will invite the other GU Immortals in. Miao Mingshen said again, I am friends with Tu Tu Tuo and Zheng Luozi, I can write them a letter to make sure they know what decision to make. Fang Yuan nodded, that would be good. Eventually, Fang Yuan obtained a few information path mortal GU from Miao Mingshen. Miao Mingshen not only wrote letters to Zheng Luozi and Tu Tu Tuo, he even wrote to Ren Shuping, Tong Hua, and Shen Clan, inviting them on behalf of Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan took a few glances at the content, there were no issues. Miao Mingshen expressed his intention to work together in the letter, he said that their grudges could be put aside for a while, he also praised Fang Yuan's methods and urged them to cooperate with him. Fang Yuan could not help but reassess Miao Mingshen. The truth was, Miao Mingshen's letter was only the icing on the cake, this letter was not going to change anything. Fang Yuan had a lot of confidence in successfully recruiting these people to begin with. Even if Miao Mingshen objected, Fang Yuan would still invite the other GU Immortals. Miao Mingshen knew that he was not someone crucial to Fang Yuan, he could be replaced, in order to gain more benefits in the future, he relented. If this is not a talented person, who is? The process of recruiting Tu Tu Tuo and Zheng Luozi went very smoothly. Fang Yuan only said a sentence and they quickly joined him, they even showed deep excitement. After all, Fang Yuan was bringing Miao Mingshen's group to rise in ranking on the merit board, everyone could see how they suppressed Shen Kongsheng. Fang Yuan invited Tong Hua next, she hesitated and said she needed to think about it. After that, Fang Yuan invited Ren Shuping, he agreed to it without even thinking, he was even faster than Tu Tu Tuo and Zheng Luozi. Ren Shuping also brought slightly surprising news to Fang Yuan, Shen Clan's GU Immortals wanted to join as well. Shen Kongsheng was the leader of the Shen Clan GU Immortals, without his consent, none of them would dare to defect over to Fang Yuan. Thus Fang Yuan met with Shen Kongsheng soon after. Chu Ying. This time, Shen Kongsheng had a warm attitude, he also treated the rank 7 Chu Ying as a rank 8 equal. The reason why I came here is because of Heavenly Court's information. Not long ago, Duke Long and Qi Si ancestor had a battle, I'm sure you have heard of it. In this battle, I captured Ji Yu Fang Zheng. In order to get him back, Heavenly Court gave me some important information. It turns out that this Dragon Whale Paradise has a rank 8 response Immortal GU. This GU is extremely important to me and my Shen Clan, I have been looking for it for many years. Shen Clan is willing to cooperate with you, Chu Ying. If you see this GU on the Merit Obelisk's reward list, I hope you can pass it. If you encounter this GU in a mission, my Shen Clan would like you to capture it for us. We will offer you a huge reward. Fang Yuan's expression changed. Response GU. This GU worm is among the top 10 of the list of mystical GU, it can emit a voice and anyone who hears this voice and responds to it will become enslaved. A rank 8 response GU can enslave rank 8 GU immortals. This is such a precious GU that your clan is unable to obtain. If you want to work with me, what rewards are you offering me? After all, within this dragon whale paradise, we cannot set an agreement. Shen Kongsheng laughed loudly. I have already prepared it. This cooperation will use the reputation of my Shen clan. You can record the entire process. Furthermore, I have something for you. This is a portion of our sincerity, please do accept it. Saying so, Shen Kongsheng took out a set of immortal materials and handed them to Fang Yuan. The immortal materials had a lot of value, even Fang Yuan felt a little excited upon receiving them. Regret GU was right in front of him, he needed quite a bit of resources to advance all of his immortal GU. This set of immortal materials from Shen Kongsheng had fixed this problem, it was something Fang Yuan really needed. Fang Yuan nodded as he accepted the immortal materials. Shen Kongsheng added, I hear that your current mission has a super immortal formation set by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable himself. I would like to go there. Response GU might be in it, even if it is not there, my Shen clan GU immortals can lend a hand to help you with this mission. Fang Yuan pondered for a while before nodding, it is my honor to receive the help of Lord Shen Kongsheng. Chapter 1904 Territory GU. Within the regret-crying sea area, immortals were present. Miao Mingshen and the other three each stayed in a supplementary formation, they activated their formations as the power continued to seep into the underwater formation. Fang Yuan was setting up his immortal formation now. His aura was radiating at rank 7 level, his body was covered in a light green halo, his eyes were filled with blue light, resembling lightning in the sea. Waving his hand, a large number of mortal GU flew into the sky like a swarm of bees, circling around and forming the shape of a supplementary formation. Next, Fang Yuan took out immortal materials and used his killer moves to fill up this supplementary formation. The newly arrived Ren Shuping and others looked at Fang Yuan with gleaming eyes, they were silent upon seeing his formation arrangement. The GU immortals all had complex expressions, even Shen Kongsheng was the same. Being able to use immortal materials to set up formations, he is a formation path grandmaster. Chu Ying cultivates transformation path, to think that he has such attainment in formation path, this is very rare. How does he dual cultivate? Perhaps he found a way to cultivate both transformation path and formation path without conflict, like how Heavenly Court's Thunder Ghost True Monarch cultivated lightning path and soul path, or how 9 Spiritual Fairy cultivates transformation path and enslavement path. It is not as simple as just a formation path grandmaster. Chu Ying's proficiency in creating formations is very high, and most impressively, he does not lack formation path immortal killer moves, his efficiency at creating formations is truly amazing. The immortals watched with increasing shock as Fang Yuan displayed his incredible formation path attainment. With such methods, he can handle a lot of missions on the Merit Obelisk. Most of the Merit Obelisk missions involve channeling of rivers and managing the ecology, this is very advantageous for Chu Ying. No wonder he could complete so many formations. Ordinary formation path GU immortals need immortal GU to create immortal formations. But Chu Ying is a formation path grandmaster, he only needs to use immortal materials. This is too terrifying. The GU immortals could not help but feel envy and jealousy, especially towards Miao Mingshen and group who had joined Chu Ying much earlier and had a head start. Ren Shuping was already starting to consider if he should abandon Shen clan after this mission and defect to Fang Yuan instead. Looking at the current situation, Fang Yuan was very magnanimous. Earlier, even though Ren Shuping was enemies with him, he had completely ignored it at the moment. Ren Shuping's worry was that Fang Yuan already had Miao Mingshen's group. Even Tu Tu Tuo and Zheng Luozi had a closer relationship to Fang Yuan than him. In Chu Ying's perspective, he could simply cooperate with the people he liked. Why would he seek the cooperation of an enemy like me? Ren Shuping had a thought. Even though he had formation path grandmaster attainment level, being able to use immortal materials to set up formations, his greatest limitation is also immortal materials. If he lacks immortal materials, I can contribute them to him and deepen our cooperation and relationship. Ren Shuping decided to give up some of his personal benefits, that was the only way he could entice Fang Yuan into cooperating with him. This formation has been created, Ren Shuping, please go and defend it. Fang Yuan spoke at this time. He had already set up several formations, this was like the previous few ones, even though they were made in the sky, once they were completed, they would sink into the sea. Sure. Ren Shuping smiled as he flew down, he entered the formation without checking it closely. Ren Shuping did not have formation path attainment. Even if Fang Yuan created the formation before his very eyes, he could not understanding the profundity of this supplementary formation, but he believed that with Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's arrangements, Fang Yuan could not harm him. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable restricted GU Immortals from fighting each other. It allowed them to trust each other to a large extent. Fang Yuan continued to set up formations. 1, 2, 3. One by one, GU Immortals entered their formations. The supplementary formations were getting stronger. Ren Shuping's expression was not good now. Fang Yuan seemed to have an endless supply of immortal materials. During this period of time, he saw Domination Copper, Earthly Limit Astral Chi, Green Jade Wind, Dark Inkstone, Heaven Flying Jade. Fang Yuan's deep wealth silenced all of the immortals. Ren Shuping even gasped in shock several times. With such wealth, how could he possibly compare? And the thing that made Ren Shuping the most dejected was Fang Yuan's attitude. He spent all of these immortal materials to create formations. He did not even blink or hesitate. He was completely indifferent about the cost. Even though Fang Yuan lacked immortal materials, that was for the sake of advancing his immortal GU. The immortal materials used to create these formations were merely just a tiny portion of Fang Yuan's treasury. Even if he had to create another 100 supplementary formations, he could easily afford it. Thus, Fang Yuan's actions were simply showing that he was incredibly affluent in the eyes of Ren Shuping and the other GU immortals. After expending some time and effort, all the supplementary formations were finally created. Shen Kongsheng and the rest went into their own formations that were scattered all around the underwater formation. If one watched from above, it would resemble the tail of a peacock. Every single supplementary formation resembled the feathers that formed the eye of a peacock tail. They gathered strength that flowed all the way into the underwater formation. The supplementary formations looked similar, but they all had different effects. This was because Fang Yuan modified every supplementary formation according to the respective GU immortal using it. For example, Miao Ming Shen's supplementary formation had space path immortal materials. It could raise his efficiency. Ren Shuping's supplementary formation had several spaces in it that could accommodate desolate beasts. It would allow him to use his enslavement path expertise. Other than that, the supplementary formations also had specific locations. Fang Yuan placed the weaker immortals like Hua Dai and Feng Zhang at the periphery. Shen Kongsheng, who was the strongest, was closest to the underwater formation. Fang Yuan also created a supplementary formation for himself. He entered it. This supplementary formation was a refinement path GU formation. Its only use was to amplify the power of Fang Yuan's refinement path killer moves. Within the supplementary formation, Fang Yuan activated his killer move, Refinement Formation Rain. At once, rain started to drizzle above the sea. Countless raindrops entered the underwater formation. The might of refinement path was displayed as GU worms were refined by Fang Yuan one by one. Shen Kongsheng and the others did not find this rain powerful initially, but after a while, their eyes were opened wide. Because during this short period of time, Fang Yuan had already refined the outer layer of the underwater formation. What killer move is this? It worked against this underwater formation. It looks like a refinement path killer move. Some were uncertain. Such a powerful refinement path killer move does Chu Ying cultivate refinement path too? Some found it unbelievable. This should be the effect of that supplementary formation. The GU immortals thought about it for a long time. They subconsciously decided to attribute it to the power of Fang Yuan's supplementary formation. If Chu Ying also had such terrifying attainment in refinement path, able to refine the formation of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, wouldn't he be a triple cultivator? How would Ren Shuping, Miao Ming Shen, and all these other elites who cultivated one path feel? Even if it was the power of the supplementary formation, these GU immortals were still immensely shocked. Shen Kongsheng's pupils shrunk slightly. Compared to the supplementary formation's power, he was more shocked at Fang Yuan's ambition. He already understood it. All of them controlling the supplementary formations were like crowbars, while the underwater formation was like a tightly sealed wooden box. The power of the supplementary formation invaded the underwater formation. It was like the crowbars trying to pry open the box. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan controlled the supplementary formation that was the core of this entire formation. It could flow in using the crack opened by the crowbars to invade and turn these wooden boards into his own possession. Such formation path attainment, such ambition, he wants to take the entire formation for himself. Chu Ying, Shen Kongsheng had a solemn expression. He secretly engraved this name into his heart. This was not the first time Fang Yuan was using this refinement formation rain killer move. This move used rank 8 water refinement immortal GU as the core. Fang Yuan used many GU worms to suppress the rank 8 aura, disguising it as rank 7. After rebirth, he annexed Langya sect and gained rank 8 Immortal Gu Water Refinement. He created this move. After returning to southern border, he used this killer move to refine Kaikuyu's formation and captured many Gu Immortals inside the formation. This time, Fang Yuan used it with rank 7 aura again. With the concealment of the supplementary formation, Shenkong Sheng could not tell that it was truly rank 8. The power of a rank 8 killer move was truly extraordinary. The underwater formation was slowly refined by Fang Yuan bit by bit. The more he refined it, the greater his control over the formation. With the help of his supplementary formations, he progressed with great speed without much problem. However, after he refined 30% of the formation, refinement formation rain's effect fell drastically, his progress slowed down. Refinement formation rain is just a killer move, the actual effect depends on my understanding of this underwater formation. Fang Yuan expected this, he was not surprised, he was sufficiently patient. He decided to spend some time here, to get Regret Gu and the other Immortal Gu in the formation. His investments were worth it. Originally, he was worried about the other Gu Immortals. But now that Shenkong Sheng had been invited here, Fang Yuan was not afraid that other Gu Immortals would use this time to surpass his contribution ranking. The rate of formation refinement got slower and slower. Eventually, Fang Yuan hit a brick. This was an Earth Path rank 7 Immortal Gu, its body was flat like a disc, yellowish-brown, with a head and a tail, and 4 tentacles that look like hooks, growing evenly around the disc. This is Territory Gu. Once a Gu Immortal plants it deep into the soil, it will emit a profound power that affects the surrounding soil and spreads out until it reaches its limit. Everything that is within 1,000 li of that territory will be controlled by the Gu Immortal. Fang Yuan recognized this Gu. Territory Gu was very commonly seen, especially in southern border. Many villages, even if they were not proficient in Earth Path, would try to get a rank 3 or 4 Territory Gu. The village would plant this Gu in the soil and let a Gu master in a position of authority use it, to raise and maintain their control over this territory. Territory Gu was a very useful Gu worm, but it was very expensive, it was often used by forces. Individual Gu masters did not need it. Territory Immortal Gu was actually kept within Dragon Whale Paradise. This Gu was quite useful to Fang Yuan as well. Fang Yuan could conveniently use this Gu worm to manage his immortal aperture. He could alter the landscape of the territory that he creates using Territory Gu. Even if it was not useful, Fang Yuan still had to refine this Earth Path Immortal Gu. It was the key obstacle now, it stopped Fang Yuan from progressing further. Chapter 1905 Demonic Immortal breaks free. It is a little troublesome, I need to make deductions. Everyone, take a rest for now. Fang Yuan spoke. The obstacle of Territory Gu not only blocked Fang Yuan but also the other Gu Immortals. No matter how they activated the supplementary formation, they could not penetrate the formation anymore. The Gu Immortals started to rest, but not without talking among themselves. We finally met with an obstacle. I thought that Chu Ying would be able to continue refining it endlessly. Don't joke, this is a formation that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created personally. How in the world can this Chu Ying possibly refine such a formation? But if he cannot refine it, what will happen to our mission? Indeed, even though Chu Ying is a formation path grandmaster, deduction is the expertise of wisdom path. What can he deduce? The Gu Immortals had complex emotions. On one hand, they could finally let out a sigh of relief after seeing Fang Yuan face an obstacle. On the other hand, the fact that Fang Yuan was stuck meant that they were also not able to progress and gain more benefits. The Gu Immortals wanted Fang Yuan to break through this obstacle, but they were also inherently unwilling to see him succeed. Alright, I deduced it, let's continue. Fang Yuan said. What? The Immortals were stumped, his speed was too terrifying. Fang Yuan flew out of the supplementary formation and floated in the air. To get through this obstacle, we need to modify the supplementary formations a little. Everyone, don't be anxious to take action. Next, he willed as immortal essence got rapidly expended. Supplementary formations followed his will and thought, changing locations. Some supplementary formations moved back while others moved in front, getting closer to the underwater formation. Eventually, Miao Mingshen's supplementary formation was closely placed beside Ren Shuping's formation. They were tightly connected together. Fang Yuan said to them, next, the two of you will lead the supplementary formations while the others help out. Ren Shuping and Miao Mingshen nodded. They had complex expressions, not expecting that they of all people would actually cooperate. After modifying the supplementary formations, Fang Yuan entered his supplementary formation again. He did not rush to activate refinement formation rain. Instead he gave specific instructions to the immortals within these formations, using his own steps and methods to activate these supplementary formations in a particular manner. The power of the supplementary formation changed. It was like a thin cluster of sand, falling through the cracks of the underwater formation and slowing down its operations bit by bit. And this change was what Fang Yuan needed to make use of. He quickly activated Refinement Formation Rain and successfully refined Territory GU after a while. After passing this obstacle, a new sense of ease was felt by the immortals as the supplementary formation's power surged like a wave and rampaged in the underwater formation. Only after it took over 60% of the formation did it stop at a new obstacle. A huge wave of shock emerged in the hearts of Shen Kongsheng and the rest. So powerful. To think that this Chu Ying is so impressive. More than half of this underwater formation belongs to him now. The supplementary formations he designed are very profound, they can be adjusted according to situations. This is not a fixed formation, it is a transformative formation. Fang Yuan's performance surpassed their highest expectations, they could not help but feel deeply astonished. 3 days and 2 nights later, Fang Yuan refined a few more Earth Path Immortal GU and a vast number of Mortal GU. At this point, the 60% of the formation was finally under Fang Yuan's control. But the remaining 40% is the core of this underwater formation. With just the supplementary formations and myself, we cannot break through it in the short term. Fang Yuan knew his own limits. He had already reached the current limit of his abilities after reaching this point. After all, this Earth Path formation was created by Paradise Earth, his Earth Path attainment level was Supreme Grand Master. Fang Yuan tried to use the 60% that he refined to interfere with the remaining 40%. Fang Yuan tried to use the underwater formation against itself. Goo! A moment later, Fang Yuan suddenly coughed out blood as his soul shook, his face turned pale. Many supplementary formations including the one he was in broke apart, the GU immortals within fell into the water as they shouted in shock, each of them faced varying levels of backlash. Fang Yuan's plan failed, even though he controlled 60% of the formation, he could not do anything to the remaining core 40%. As expected of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, even after over half of it was refined, it still remained unmoved. Fang Yuan's heart shook. He sighed to himself as he called out, "Everyone, I am sorry, I did not see the profundity of the formation and caused you to get injured." The injured GU immortals shook their head, they quickly replied that they were fine. In their opinion, it was outstanding that Chu Ying could reach this stage, he far exceeded their expectations. Fang Yuan squinted his eyes as he thought, it seems that we can only dismantle the formation now. After resting for a while, he started to dismantle the formation. Because the external 60% was already refined by him, the dismantling was very successful. But this was not a normal dismantling process. Fang Yuan only took apart 60% of the formation, thus during this process, GU worms were destroyed when the formation was taken apart. But Fang Yuan paid attention to the immortal GU and protected them, he successfully obtained them. As for the mortal GU, even if some of them were destroyed, it was not a big deal. Miao Mingshen, Ren Shuping, and the rest watched with wide-opened eyes. When they controlled the supplementary formation earlier, they could not sense the exact situation within the formation, there was only a faint connection. Now that Fang Yuan dismantled the formation, they could see all of the GU worms that he was getting. So many GU worms. I see so many long-lost Earth Path Mortal GU, they were all created when Paradise Earth was still a GU master. There are also Immortal GU, oh heavens, there are 8 Immortal GU. Most of these Immortal GU are rank 7, there are few rank 6 Immortal GU. Chu Ying took them all. Indeed, he did not even give us a single one. The GU Immortals watched as Fang Yuan took his Immortal GU, they were staring in a daze, some of them were even salivating intensely. Most of these were Earth Path Immortal GU, they were not suitable for use but Immortal GU were unique, they could be traded for other Immortal GU. Tu Tuo's eyes were bloodshot, he was almost spewing fire from them. He was an Earth Path GU Immortal, watching as Fang Yuan kept the Earth Path Immortal GU in his Immortal aperture, he felt his mouth turning dry and his heart palpitating intensely. While dismantling the formation, he gulped several times, he wanted to speak but could only swallow his saliva in the end. He really wanted to snatch these Immortal GU, but his logic told him that it would be the most stupid move to do so. Even a rank 8 like Shen Kongsheng could not do anything, how could he? In the end, Tu Tuo heaved a deep sigh, he swallowed all of his envy and jealousy into his stomach along with his saliva. His mind moved quickly, thinking of how to get these Immortal GU. He knew that he was not crucial to this plan, so the only way was to deepen his cooperation and relationship with Chu Ying by displaying his value. It would help in the future when he asks Chu Ying to exchange GU. The only good thing was that Chu Ying cultivated transformation path and formation path, he did not cultivate earth path. Thus, there was a high possibility that Chu Ying would sell these immortal GU in the future. The pitiful Tu Tu Tuo did not know that Fang Yuan's earth path attainment level was at Grandmaster, it was even higher than his. After Fang Yuan dismantled the outer part of the formation, the immortals came to congratulate him. Congratulations, congratulations, Chu Ying, you've earned a fortune this time. Even though you used so many immortal materials, you gained a large number of immortal GU. It is truly a huge profit. To speak the truth, my saliva is about to drip to the ground. Outstanding methods, all I feel is admiration towards you. Chu Ying, I am Tu Tu Tuo, I am quite interested in these Earth Path Immortal GU that you obtained. If you wish to sell or exchange them, please inform me, I am sure that you will be satisfied with my offer. Fang Yuan thanked them one by one with calm emotions. He simply had too many immortal GU already. It could scare them all to death if he said the exact number. And this batch of immortal GU that he just obtained was not his biggest gain recently. Earlier in the River of Time, Fang Yuan defeated Heavenly Court. Even though he lost the Stone Lotus Island, his gains were huge. He dismantled 6 immortal GU house from Heavenly Court. Even though many immortal GU died in the battle, there were many immortal GU left. For example, the core immortal GU of the River Suppression Lotus Sealing Formation, Suppression and Bone Seal, the 2-time Path Core of Moment Stage, Instant and That Time, Immortal GU Permanence in Eternal Yacht, the Early Autumn, Mid-Autumn, and Late Autumn of 3 Autumn Yellow Crane Platform, and the Immortal GU in Sun and Moon Temple, Sun Day and Moon Month. These immortal GU were mostly rank 7, some were rank 8. As for Shark Flow Lever, even though it was completely destroyed without a single one left, it had a special construction style, it used a combination of Desolate Beasts and immortal GU. While Fang Yuan took his loot and gains from the battlefield, he reverse deduced most of the contents of Shark Flow Lever using the clues he found. This gave him a huge inspiration. Currently, Fang Yuan's clone was already making deductions to try to incorporate 12 Zodiac Battle Formation into his myriad-year flying warship. Right now, there was only 40% of the underwater formation left in front of Fang Yuan and the others. Using Refinement Formation Rain would have little to no effect already. The power of the supplementary formation could no longer do anything. Even though Fang Yuan tried very hard, there was no progress. He understood that this underwater formation was like a hard tortoise shell, its defense was very tight. Should I wait for my clone Wu Shui to raise my Earth Path attainment level or should I attack directly? Fang Yuan thought about it, he decided to save time and attack now. After all, he had so many people with him now, he had to make good use of them. Immediately, he asked these GU Immortals to attack while he and a few other GU Immortals stayed to manipulate the supplementary formation. Boom boom boom, all sorts of killer moves were unleashed upon the underwater formation, causing huge ripples and waves. The formation only had 40% left, after being attacked by so many strong immortals, including a rank 8 GU immortal like Shen Kong Sheng, its operations were hindered as all sorts of flaws appeared. Fang Yuan was overjoyed, he quickly used the supplementary formation to invade the formation using these loopholes. I regret it. Suddenly, from within, a loud crying voice resounded in the area. What was I doing? I should not have attacked the formation. I regret it. Why did I listen to Chu Ying? I should not have come to Dragon Whale Paradise, now I am completely trapped, I truly regret everything. The immortals quickly stopped their actions, their morale fell to rock bottom as regret GU exerted its influence on them. Only Fang Yuan remained unmoved, bright light shined in his eyes as he thought, the demonic immortal within the formation is spreading the power of regret GU to weaken its influence on him. He wants to escape. Bam bam bam, loud sounds were emitted from within the underwater formation. The formation had flaws to begin with, right now, these gaps spread as they formed into a huge crack. Shen Kong Sheng shouted loudly as he temporarily suppressed the effect of regret GU, his eyes were bloodshot as he attacked the formation's crack fiercely. Immortal Killer Move, Grand Collision. Boom, the power of this move cooperated with the demon within, the formation broke apart as the sealed demonic immortal flew out like a black arrow. Shen Kong Sheng was overjoyed, he flew closer. Ancestor Shen Shang, I am a descendant of Shen clan, I am your junior. Chapter 1906. He is actually Fang Yuan. The sudden change occurred in front of all the immortals. Shen Kong Sheng got close to the mysterious demonic immortal, he showed an agitated expression. Finally, I've finally found you, Ancestor Shen Shang. Shen Kongsheng shouted in a slightly trembling voice. His true motive in coming here was to save his ancestor, Shen Shang. Shen Shang was the most outstanding GU immortal in Shen clan. He had outstanding talent that was publicly recognized. In fact, when he was still a rank 6 GU immortal, a wisdom path rank 8 great expert had said that he was the hundreds of years Eastern immortal leader. With half of a Venerable's talent, it meant that he would become the leader of Eastern Seas immortals in hundreds of years when he reaches rank 8. His talent was so high it could compare to half a Venerable. However, Shen Shang pursued strength and gradually fell into the demonic path. He started to commit heinous deeds. His clan treasured his talent, and even though they punished him, it was not a severe punishment. They protected him continuously. Shen Shang did not change his ways. He became more daring, and as a righteous path GU immortal on the surface, he acted like a demon. Eastern Sea's GU immortal world was kept in the dark. Shen clan managed to conceal the fact, but they could not hide it from Paradise Earth immortal Venerable. Paradise Earth immortal Venerable took action, suppressing him, but did not expose his identity publicly. Shen clan did not dare to publicize it. They only announced that Shen Shang had died from his tribulation. After Shen Kongsheng captured Gu Fang Zheng, Heavenly Court contacted him and told him about Shen Shang's information in exchange for Fang Zheng. Therefore, Shen Kongsheng learned that Shen Shang was still alive, and that he was imprisoned within Dragon Whale Paradise. In order to enter Dragon Whale Paradise, Shen Kongsheng mobilized the whole of Shen clan to investigate and search in secret. Right at this time, Ren Shuping targeted Miao Ming Shen and attacked them, exposing clues leading to the Blue Dragon Whale. After Shen clan learned of this, Shen Kongsheng led them to force Ren Shuping to submit. They learned that Miao Ming Shen had a way to find the exact location of the Blue Dragon Whale. Miao Ming Shen gathered 8 immortals to search for the Paradise Earth true inheritance in the Blue Dragon Whale. Ren Shuping and Shen Kongsheng learned about it and followed them. After that, it led to a series of events. After Shen Kongsheng came to Dragon Whale Paradise, he tried all the ways possible to find Shen Shang's location. After a few missions, Shen clan GU immortal Shen Qi got the information of Regret Crying Sea. Shen Kongsheng guessed that the demonic immortal in Regret Crying Sea was likely Shen Shang. However, he could not be happy for long because he heard of terrifying news. Chu Ying actually accepted the mission to kill Shen Shang. This shocked Shen Kongsheng. He quickly contacted Fang Yuan, lying that he was looking for response GU and offering a large amount of immortal materials to express his goodwill. Thus, Fang Yuan brought Shen Kongsheng into Regret Crying Sea. Shen Kongsheng waited secretly and did not make a move. Only at the last moment, he acted and saved Shen Shang with one attack. This change made everyone dumbfounded other than the Shen clan GU immortals. Immediately, Miao Ming Shen and the rest had dark expressions. Their hearts sank to rock bottom. Shen Kongsheng was a rank 8 GU immortal to begin with. They had another Shen Shang who was a rank 8 GU immortal now as well. Back then, Paradise Earth immortal Venerable had to suppress him personally. He definitely had outstanding battle strength that was not to be underestimated. With Shen Shang, Shen clan's strength rose greatly. Not only in Dragon Whale Paradise, but even in Eastern Sea, there would be a shocking change. Currently, in Eastern Sea's righteous path, Shen clan would be the only super force with 2 rank 8 GU immortals. Shen clan would become the strongest force in Eastern Sea. This would have huge impact and bring immense benefits to Shen clan. Back then, Heavenly Court exposed this secret to them. It was no wonder that Shen Kongsheng immediately released Fang Zheng without caring about Qixi ancestor, who was hinting that he wanted to get Fang Zheng. You are a descendant of my Shen clan. Shen Shang floated in the air, looking at Shen Kongsheng. His eyes shined with brilliance as he nodded. Indeed, you are a member of Shen clan. What year is it now? Shen Shang had a hoarse voice. It was even more coarse than crow's. He wore a gray robe that was tattered. His face was pale and his hair was messy. His eyes were bloodshot and red. His peak rank 8 aura radiated from his body with an intense force. Shen Kongsheng answered his question and told him that Paradise Earth immortal Venerable had died long ago. So long has passed. Shen Shang sighed deeply. Lord Paradise Earth died after all. Sigh. His attitude towards Paradise Earth immortal Venerable was a bit strange. Paradise Earth immortal Venerable suppressed him, but he actually called Paradise Earth Lord. After sighing, Shen Shang looked towards Fang Yuan and the other immortals. He gazed around and understood the situation. He cupped his fists and smiled. Good, it seems that my Shen clan has many talented people. Afterwards, he focused his gaze on Fang Yuan as he spoke in a gentle tone. Friend, I was able to escape thanks to you. It was mostly due to your effort. Do you wish to join Shen clan and become our external supreme elder? He actually wanted to recruit Fang Yuan. Indeed, Fang Yuan had displayed sufficient value already. Just his formation path Grand Master status was something Shen clan wanted. And looking at his attainment and age, it was possible that he could break through to formation path Great Grand Master in his lifetime. Shen Kongsheng cupped his fists towards Fang Yuan, adding, Chu Ying, I lied earlier but I did not have a choice. Saving our ancestor Shen Shang is extremely important to Shen clan, I hope you can understand. Fang Yuan nodded with a plain expression, he even had a smile on his face. Of course I understand, if it were me, I would do the same. But Shen clan wants to recruit me. He, Fang Yuan laughed as he shook his head. Shen Kongsheng said coldly, Friend Chu Ying, why are you laughing? Fang Yuan raised his eyebrows. On what foundation is your Shen clan trying to recruit me? You guys are simply unqualified. Shen Kongsheng's gaze turned cold as ice. His Shen clan was an Eastern Sea superforce, they owned 7 large sea areas and thousands of middle and small sea areas, they even had 2 rank 8s now. With such strength, they were not qualified to recruit a tiny lone immortal. HMPH, Chu Ying, don't be too arrogant. My Shen clan is giving you a chance, this is the magnanimity of our ancestor Shen Shang. Don't think too highly of yourself. Shen Xiao and Shen Qi quickly spoke, they flew out of the supplementary formations, gathering with Shen Kongsheng and Shen Shang. Shen Shang's bloodshot eyes had deep killing intent, he looked at Fang Yuan and spoke with an icy voice, Chu Ying. I need to remind you, you were all sent here by the Merit Obelisk, Paradise Earth's method restricts you from fighting each other. But I have been trapped here for countless years, I am not restricted by the Merit Obelisk, so all of you can be attacked by me. The expressions of Miao Ming Shen and the rest changed, their worst nightmare had come true. What should they do now? Right when they were helpless, they suddenly heard Fang Yuan laughing loudly as he pointed his finger at Shen Shang who was in the sky, provoking him to attack. Miao Ming Shen and the rest were dumbfounded. Was this courage or stupidity? They could not tell. Shen Shang's eyes shined with blood-red light as he lowered his voice that was filled with anger. You are courting death, then go die. Saying so, he opened his mouth as a blood-colored sound wave in a ball-shape shot towards Fang Yuan. The sound wave was very fast, in almost an instant, it flew through the sky and landed on the supplementary formation. Boom! The supplementary formation collapsed instantly, it did not even last for a moment. An intense explosion occurred, a huge sea wave surged into the sky, it was tens of feet tall. Before the wave landed, the explosion had already caused damage to the surroundings, Miao Ming Shen and the rest had to fly into the sky, away from their supplementary formations. All of the supplementary formations were destroyed, Miao Ming Shen and the rest had ashen expressions. Shen Shang's attack was definitely at rank 8 level, it was terrifying. From their perspective, there was little chance that Chu Ying survived that. The truth was, they did not care about Chu Ying's situation right now, they were more worried about themselves. Because Shen Shang had proven his words from earlier with action, he could really attack Miao Ming Shen and the others. Ancestor is so powerful, Shen Kongsheng squinted, he knew the inside details. Shen Shang did not cultivate sound path primarily, the sound path method he used earlier was not his true strength. Chu Ying is dead meat. Good that he died, I disliked him from the start. Indeed, he only had rank 7 cultivation level but acted so arrogantly because he knew things about the dragon whale paradise, he truly had no regard for us. He dared to provoke a rank 8, he truly wanted to die. Shen Xiao said as he suddenly stammered. After the huge waves crashed down, new enormous waves were formed. Within the steam and mist, a shiny ship that was covered in silver-white light appeared in front of all of the immortals. Chu Ying's arms were behind his back, he stood at the deck as he carried the same smile as before. Shen Shang saw this as his pupils shrunk, he gasped with shock, rank 8 immortal GU house. The other GU immortals were all stunned. They were so familiar with this immortal GU house, no, in the current 5 regions, which GU immortal did not know about this immortal GU house. This is myriad year flying warship. Ren Shuping cried out, he felt his scalp going numb. Chu Ying actually has myriad year flying warship, who in the world is he? Shen Xiao was tongue-tied. The immortals stared at Fang Yuan with fixed gazes, he gradually dispelled familiar faces he showed his true appearance. After seeing his true appearance, all of the immortals' hearts shook, none of them could stay indifferent. Hua Dai screamed out loud, it's Fang Yuan. She was too shocked, she had always felt that Fang Yuan was high and mighty, far away from people like them, to think that he was around her the entire time. It was truly unbelievable. It's Fang Yuan. Shen clan's GU immortals gritted their teeth, some were breathing and gasping loudly. So that was it. Miao Ming Shen gulped as he swallowed his saliva. Chu Ying was a fake identity of Fang Yuan. After all, how could such a powerful lone immortal appear in Eastern Sea suddenly? It was Fang Yuan after all. Who was Fang Yuan? He had inherited many venerable inheritances, he was someone who could not be assessed with common sense. No wonder Chu Ying had such attainment in transformation path and formation path. This was just a fragment of Fang Yuan's true strength. Now everything made sense. Shen Kongsheng's expression was pale as he gritted his teeth. In just a short time, sweat had gathered on his forehead already. So it was this great demon Fang Yuan. No wonder he had such an attitude, even against two rank 8s, he showed such disdain towards Shen clan. It was normal. Shen Kongsheng suddenly felt that it was a logical situation, all of his anger towards Chu Ying's arrogance vanished completely without a trace. Fang Yuan dared to provoke even Heavenly Court and kill their members, how could Shen clan even compare? After his anger subsided, he felt intense fear afterwards. He actually met with Fang Yuan, this was such a problematic person. Shen Kongsheng sighed in his heart, his luck was really bad, why did he meet Fang Yuan of all people? At this moment, his rank 8 strength could not give him confidence, he was panicking internally. At this moment, Shen Kongsheng heard Shen Shang's voice, who is Fang Yuan? Shen Kongsheng looked at Shen Shang who had a confused expression. He felt that this was very strange. This GU immortal only had rank 7 cultivation level, he had only changed his appearance. Why were they all so afraid? Shen Shang looked at Shen Kongsheng with a gaze that had slight questioning, it seemed to be saying, you are a great rank 8, why are you afraid of a rank 7, what is there to fear? Even though Fang Yuan showed his appearance, he did not reveal his rank 8 aura, it was still concealed. Shen Kongsheng blinked as he shuddered internally. Could he remain calm? Could he look at Fang Yuan using common sense and cultivation level? He was a ruthless demon who dared to trample on Heavenly Court, he destroyed 6 immortal GU houses belonging to Heavenly Court earlier, he even slaughtered a bunch of Heavenly Court GU immortals. He was ruthless and scheming, even Heavenly Court was without options against him. Now that Shen clan offended him, forget about 2 rank 8s, even if they had a group of rank 8s, Shen Kongsheng would not feel safe at all. Chapter 1907 Human Path Quasi-Supreme. At this point, Fang Yuan was no longer like before. Heavenly Court was the reason for his overwhelming fame and dominance. Even though he only displayed rank 7 cultivation level, it was enough to intimidate most rank 8 GU immortals in the world. Ancestor. Shen Kongsheng sent an information path mortal GU to Shen Shang, it contained everything they knew about Fang Yuan. Shen Shang received the mortal GU as his divine sense swept through it, he looked towards Fang Yuan with a new type of gaze. Fang Yuan, even Heavenly Court cannot do anything against you, ha ha ha, interesting. Shen Shang's eyes burst out with blood-red light, he laughed wildly, to think that a person like you would appear in the world, this is wonderful, because now I won't feel lonely. Saying so, a strong aura burst out of his body, overwhelming the surroundings and dominating everyone's hearts. Not only did Shen Shang not feel threatened by Fang Yuan's information, he even became extremely motivated to fight. Looking at Shen Shang's action, Shen Kongsheng felt a sense of confidence in his heart. I'm likely not Fang Yuan's match, but with Ancestor Shen Shang here who is not an ordinary rank 8 GU immortal, the outcome is still unknown. While he was thinking that, a silver light shot out and filled Shen Kongsheng's vision. Damn it! The alarms in Shen Kongsheng's mind rang wildly, he quickly retreated. At the next moment, myriad year flying warship flew over, drawing a beautiful arc of light in the air as it traveled. If he reacted slower and stayed on the spot, Shen Kongsheng would have been hit by myriad year flying warship. Shen Kongsheng did not dare to imagine the result of that collision. This was the advantage of an immortal GU house. Activating immortal killer moves took time, but using an immortal GU house to charge and rampage would instantly allow one to unleash an offensive method. Myriad year flying warship shot off again. Fang Yuan mobilized myriad year flying warship and went after Shen Shang, ignoring Shen Kongsheng completely. Shen Shang did not dare to test myriad year flying warship with his bare body either, he was forced into being chased around by myriad year flying warship. Shen Kongsheng and the other Shen clan GU immortals wanted to help out but they were helpless when they found out that they could not attack Fang Yuan. Damn it! Shen Kongsheng gritted his teeth, in this situation, Shen clan's superiority in numbers could not be used, they could only watch as Fang Yuan fought against Shen Shang. As for Miao Mingshen and the rest, they did not dare to participate in such a battle, they were retreating already, hiding at a corner of the battlefield. Shen Shang, as an ancestor of Shen clan, all you can do is run around. Fang Yuan mocked from within myriad-year flying warship. But even inside myriad-year flying warship, he was still restricted by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's method. Fang Yuan had many subordinates in the Sovereign Immortal Aperture, but he could not let them out. He could only control myriad-year flying warship alone. If he could let out his subordinates, his numbers would far surpass Shen clan. HMPH, Arrogant Jr. Shen Shang was angered by Fang Yuan's words, he stopped in the air and used an immortal killer move. Shen Shang's flying attainment was very high, he was able to fly rapidly, capable of catching up to myriad-year flying warship. In the process of escaping, he had been preparing his killer move, he finally unleashed it now. Immortal killer move, Night Song. The melancholic song quickly spread across the battlefield, and the sadness contained in it was like a tidal wave, constantly filling the hearts of the people. The song had a slow tempo, it focused on the person's vocals, along with the sounds of drums and zithers, it was traditional yet sad. Hua Dai and Feng Zhang, who were at the periphery, were already crying. Miao Mingshen, Ren Shuping, and the rest all had sad expressions, they could not help it. Fang Yuan snorted coldly, myriad-year flying warship shined with radiance as it helped him to block the power of Night Song. But Shen Shang had already achieved his goal. He activated Night Song, not to directly deal with the GU immortals here, but to create a battlefield environment. The song enveloped the sea and sky, a trace of twilight mist spread out from the sound waves, permeating the entire field, and after a few breaths, the entire regret-crying sea turned pitch black. The GU immortals were trapped in this dark area and could not see anything, all they could hear was the sorrowful night song, their morale and battle intent fell drastically. If this continued, they were going to be defenseless. Even though Fang Yuan was barely affected, the surrounding darkness meant that he had lost sight of his target as well. Fang Yuan immediately activated his investigative method, to try to find Shen Shang's location. But Shen Shang sensed something as he laughed. Fang Yuan, you fell for my trap. Saying so, he activated a killer move, sensory injury. Fang Yuan grunted immediately, he was directly hit by it. He was shocked as he quickly realized, this is a human path killer move. No wonder my myriad-year flying warship could not guard against it. Immortal GU houses had both offense and defense, they provided a huge assurance to the GU Immortal and were very safe. But this defense was not perfect. When Fang Yuan designed myriad-year flying warship, he considered most paths, but human path was his weakness, he was not a human path grandmaster back then. By the time he gained the attainment level, myriad-year flying warship was already built, it could not be changed, he could only adjust it a little, but there could not be major modifications. And most importantly, Fang Yuan lacked defensive human path immortal GU. Shen Shang definitely has a high-rank human path immortal GU. After Fang Yuan was hit, he understood a bit of his enemy's foundation. In terms of information, Fang Yuan was the one at the losing end. He did not know much about Shen Shang, but Shen Shang knew a lot about him. Fang Yuan had trump cards, of course, like his rank 8 cultivation level, 5 restriction profound light qi, and others, but he intended to keep these methods as a secret, he did not want to expose them now. Within this dragon whale paradise, Fang Yuan could not attack Shen Kong Shang, Miao Mingshen, and Ren Shuping. If they brought this information out of dragon whale paradise, it was easy for others to find out. Thus, Fang Yuan decided to use the methods that he had already exposed before to fight. Immortal killer move, Daybreak Sword. Myriad-year flying warship's aura surged as a blinding white light shot out. From the silver white light bubbled the water of the river of time, from which countless strands of silver light emerged. The silver rays quickly condensed and took shape, transforming into many sharp sword-like blades that shot out violently. The group of flying swords whistled past, pointing straight at Shen Shang. Daybreak Flying Sword was a genuine rank 8 killer move, its power was immense, but when Shen Shang saw the group of flying swords, he laughed loudly and did not dodge. Silver white flying swords landed on his body. Shen Shang's body surged with a mysterious aura, he did not die but was covered in injuries. But soon, all the injuries over his body disappeared and turned into Dao marks. Incredible, the records in the clan are indeed correct, ancestor Shen Shang was most proficient at healing. Shen Kong Shang saw this scene and exclaimed in his mind. When Shen Shang was still young, he was a healing physician. When he was a GU master, he began to travel Eastern Sea, and because of his powerful and unique healing methods, he soon became famous and well-known. He was also praised for his charitable acts, often helping the poor and needy without charging the slightest consultation fee. He received a warm welcome wherever he went. Precisely because of his fame and reputation established in his youth, when he fell into the demonic path later and committed all sorts of demonic acts, Eastern Sea's GU Immortals did not manage to link these crimes to him. Within myriad-year flying warship, Fang Yuan squinted his eyes and felt something amiss. This healing method is another human path killer move. Under normal circumstances, the injuries of GU Immortals would have dense Dao marks that were difficult to heal. But Shen Shang possessed human path methods. He could heal himself with extreme efficiency and yielded quick results. The group of flying swords continued to shoot out, many of them piercing through his body. However, these wounds were completely healed almost instantly. Immortal killer move, mutual injuries. Shen Shang saw that the time was ripe and quickly unleashed the killer move that he had already prepared. In myriad-year flying warship, Fang Yuan grunted as hundreds of wounds instantly formed on his body. Wounds burst open and blood splattered everywhere. The wounds were filled with human path Dao marks, which then spread rapidly from the wounds, scattering everywhere while being connected as one. Alarm bells rang in Fang Yuan's heart. These human path Dao marks were like a hanging rope around his neck. Once the numbers increased, it would endanger Fang Yuan's life. At the crucial moment, Fang Yuan activated his wisdom path killer move first. In an instant, the thoughts in his mind blossomed like fireworks. All sorts of thoughts collided, converged and fused into each other. Shen Shang's methods are bizarre. He was able to bypass myriad-year flying warship to directly injure me. Such a terrifying killer move. His human path attainment level is definitely more than a level above mine. I'm afraid he's a human path quasi-supreme grandmaster. Any killer move needs to sense its target first. It can only take effect after it senses its target. How did he sense me? I see. The previous night song killer move was just a trap to lure me into detecting him. He then followed this connection and found his way to me. Everything in this world was interconnected. When a fist hits a sand dune, a pit would appear on the sand, while the fist would also be covered in sand and mud. Previously, Eastern Sea Wisdom Path GU Immortal Huan deduced Fang Yuan, but instead, Fang Yuan followed this connection and deduced Huan's situation. Not long ago, Heavenly Court GU Immortals moved to blockade the Stone Lotus Island with the River Suppression Lotus Sealing Formation, and it was with this layer of suppression and sealing that Fang Yuan was able to follow this connection and destroy the River Suppression Lotus Sealing Formation. Now, Shen Shang did the same thing to sense Fang Yuan. It followed the same logic. In just half a breath of time, Fang Yuan had already figured it out. He immediately made his move, making myriad-year flying warship retreat while scattering the daybreak flying swords, while he began to activate a healing killer move on himself. His reaction was so swift that it left Shen Shang slightly stunned. At the next moment, this demonic immortal, who was suppressed by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable himself, laughed with a hint of madness. Fang Yuan. Do you think you'll be safe if you don't attack me? Ha ha ha, watch closely. As he said that, he activated a killer move again, his 5 fingers spread wide and his palm pressed against his chest. Immortal killer move, light injuries. Shen Shang grunted as he was hit by his own killer move, his expression turned pale. Within myriad-year flying warship, Fang Yuan's body shook as he coughed out a huge mouthful of blood. Chapter 1908 Black Fire. Non-conflicting Dao marks. The sovereign immortal body's greatest advantage was also its greatest weakness. At this moment, it was fully exposed. All along, Fang Yuan had been consciously avoiding this flaw, but Shen Shang's killer move was too peculiar. It could not be guarded against. Who could have thought that night song killer move was just a trap? Shen Shang was chased by myriad-year flying warship. It was a normal thing to use this killer move to conceal his own traces. If Fang Yuan did not use an investigative method, Shen Shang would hide within the darkness. He would not be able to do anything. The human path Dao marks on Fang Yuan's injuries grew rapidly. The light injuries on Shen Shang's body also affected Fang Yuan due to the killer move mutual injuries. And in Fang Yuan's case, because of non-conflicting Dao marks, his light injuries became heavy injuries. But thankfully, all sorts of healing killer moves had their full effect when used on Fang Yuan as well. Thus, as he used a powerful healing method on himself, Fang Yuan instantly recovered. Immortal killer move, heavy injuries. Shen Shang snickered as he started to hurt himself, with greater intensity than before. Fang Yuan's body shook intensely, his vision turned dark as his 7 orifices started to bleed. No, in terms of healing methods, I cannot compare to Shen Shang. I need to find another way. Fang Yuan understood as determination flashed in his eyes. Immortal killer move, heavy injuries. Immortal killer move, heavy injuries. Immortal killer move, heavy injuries. Shen Shang continued to injure himself as he turned crazy. He laughed loudly as blood spewed out of his mouth. He heavily injured himself but rapidly healed as well, continuing the cycle. This was such a strange fighting style, it made all the GU immortals dumbfounded. Miao Ming Shen and the rest had nervous expressions, they were very worried. Shen clan's GU immortals were very excited. Even though they could not see Fang Yuan's condition, his flying swords had disintegrated while myriad-year flying warship continued to back off. Ancestor Shen Shang actually forced back Fang Yuan. Impressive. Shen Kong Sheng was very excited, he could also see the rise of Shen clan. Miao Ming Shen's eyes shined with bright light as he thought to himself, not good, even though Fang Yuan has myriad-year flying warship, Shen Shang's offensive methods bypass this immortal GU house, it counters Fang Yuan. He is just a rank 7 after all while Shen Shang is a genuine rank 8 GU immortal. Gui Qi and Tu Tu Tuo were very confused. This Shen Shang was suppressed by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable back then, it is not normal that he could live for so long. And the strange thing is, he does not lack immortal GU. When Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable suppressed him, didn't he take away or destroy his immortal GU first? Right at this moment, Shen Shang's wild laughter came to an abrupt stop. Surprise and confusion appeared on his face. His connection to Fang Yuan was weakening rapidly. How did Fang Yuan do it? How could he break and get around this method so quickly? Immortal killer move, self-cleansing. Self-cleansing could eliminate harmful Dao marks on the user's body. Fang Yuan used this killer move to quickly get rid of the human path Dao marks on his body. The blood-red light in Shen Shang's eyes flickered, he started to mutilate himself even more intensely, causing the human path Dao marks on Fang Yuan's body to grow rapidly. As long as a single human path Dao mark remained on Fang Yuan's body, he could use this connection to attack Fang Yuan while bypassing myriad-year flying warship. But right now, Fang Yuan had already stabilized the situation. Myriad-year flying warship gradually flew closer as Fang Yuan's voice resounded from within, "It is my turn now, Shen Shang." 12 Zodiac Ancient Battle Formation. Bam! With a loud sound, the huge gray stone giant appeared again. The giant moved extremely quickly, its two hands grabbed towards Shen Shang as they spread open. Shen Shang squinted and snorted coldly, he quickly retreated, attempting to pull some distance from the giant. Under Fang Yuan's manipulation, the gray stone giant only attempted to capture Shen Shang, it did not attack fiercely. The gray stone giant had very powerful offensive methods, even though this was not the River of Time, it still had peak rank 8 strength. But he was currently using capture as the objective instead of hurting Shen Shang. Shen Shang had no choice but to dodge. The battle went into a deadlock. Shen Shang dodged the 12 Zodiac battle formation while using killer moves to mutilate himself. Meanwhile, Fang Yuan manipulated myriad-year flying warship as he healed himself, using self-cleansing to get rid of harmful human path Dao marks. Myriad-year flying warship and the gray stone giant worked together, chasing after Shen Shang and obstructing him. Shen Shang was already having some trouble dodging myriad-year flying warship, with the addition of the gray stone giant, he fell into a disadvantage. Every time he was about to get caught, Shen Shang would emit a loud scream that caused sound waves to burst out, opening a path for him. Both sides continued to fight, rampaging in the battlefield, it implicated Miao Ming Shen's group, as well as the Shen clan immortals. Hua Dai and Feng Zhang were first to give up, they were transported away from the battlefield. Followed by Tong Hua, Tu Tu Tuo, Gui Qi and the rest. After that were Shen clan's immortals, Miao Ming Shen, and Ren Shuping. Eventually, only Shen Kong Sheng was left in the battlefield, not everyone was qualified to watch a battle between rank 8s after all. Shen Kong Sheng's expression became increasingly dark. The battle was tilting in Fang Yuan's favor, Shen Shang was getting into a difficult spot while Fang Yuan was having an easier time now. This lad has deep wisdom path attainment, he has countless thoughts in his mind, he can multitask easily. In this aspect, I am at the losing end. Shen Shang gritted his teeth, at this point in the battle, he felt like he had fallen into a swamp, the more he struggled, the deeper he sank. The battle had already left his control. Suddenly, Fang Yuan walked out of the cabin, arriving at the bow of the ship. He pointed at Shen Shang as a time path killer move was unleashed. Shen Shang was caught off guard, he could not dodge, after getting hit by this move, his movement slowed, the rate of time on him had been halved. The gray stone giant used this chance to grab Shen Shang, it squeezed. Shen Shang laughed loudly, his hair was messy and his eyes were bloodshot, he had no fear, go ahead and kill me. Fang Yuan snorted, He ordered the gray stone giant, it gripped to form a cage of 10 fingers, imprisoning Shen Shang and preventing him from moving. After understanding Shen Shang's offensive methods, Fang Yuan easily countered it. As long as he was captured and not killed, he could not do anything to harm Fang Yuan. Shen Shang struggled, he screamed wildly but could not escape. Shen Kongsheng saw that the situation was bad, he wanted to help but was quickly faced with backlash, he could not get away from Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's restrictions. I finally succeeded. Fang Yuan let out a breath of air. Shen Shang lived up to his reputation, this person who was suppressed by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable personally really had some skills. His methods were peculiar and strange, they were hard to guard against, Fang Yuan had fallen for them earlier. Of course, Fang Yuan still controlled the situation without wasting many of his hidden trump cards. In the worst case, Fang Yuan could return to the starting island, with this assurance, he could not lose to begin with. Ah! Shen Shang shouted loudly, his face was distorted. Fang Yuan's brows slowly started to furrow. Shen Shang's current situation was quite strange, he constantly laughed and struggled madly without using any immortal killer moves. At the next moment, his bloodshot eyes turned pitch black, the black color spread until it filled his eyes. With a light sound, a lump of black fire started to burn on his body. Within the fire, Shen Shang's body shook like he was having a spasm, he drooled uncontrollably as he waved his limbs around, he growled like a wild beast that was out of control. The black fire on Shen Shang's body was not eye-catching, but once it spread to the gray stone giant's hands, the giant screamed in pain as it got burned by the fire. After both hands got into contact with the black fire, they started to melt, completely defenseless against this strange black fire. Fang Yuan's gaze turned colder, the peculiarity and strength of this black fire was far beyond his imagination. Seeing that the situation was bad, Fang Yuan quickly deactivated the ancient battle formation. At the next moment, the gray stone giant vanished while 12 immemorial year beasts appeared in the sky. Among them, 2 immemorial year beasts contacted the black fire and lost their reasoning, they rolled around in the sky, growling in pain as they struggled intensely. Thankfully, the other 10 immemorial year beasts acted like this was their biggest threat. After regaining freedom, they quickly fled from the black fire as far as they could. Fang Yuan and Shen Kongsheng frowned deeply with solemn expressions. This black fire was too strange, the two of them could not tell what path this black fire belonged to. At the same time, they felt an extreme feeling of threat, their skulls felt numb as they sensed this danger. The black fire was like the enemy of all lifeforms. The 2 immemorial year beasts were already covered in the fire, they growled as they fell to the ground. Fang Yuan had a strong premonition, if these 2 immemorial year beasts fell into the seawater, the black fire would cause an even greater tragedy. But he did not do anything, he went into myriad year flying warship and retreated. Shen Shang, who had lost the restriction of the gray stone giant, floated in the air and laughed wildly like a lunatic. Shen Kongsheng called him several times but it went unheard. Seeing this strange situation, Shen Kongsheng also wisely chose to retreat. Right when those 2 immemorial year beasts were about to enter the water, a golden white pillar of light shot out from the underwater formation, pushing these 2 immemorial year beasts up into the sky. The underwater formation that had only 40% left burst out with unprecedented power as it operated at full force. The golden white light expanded as it covered Shen Shang as well. The black fire continued to burn Shen Shang and the 2 immemorial year beasts, but the white gold light pillar immobilized them on the spot. Such a change caused Shen Kongsheng to be stunned. Suddenly, Fang Yuan made his move, daybreak flying swords flew out and pierced the white gold light pillar, stabbing into Shen Shang. Stop it! Watching that his ancestor was attacked by Fang Yuan, Shen Kongsheng shouted anxiously. Fang Yuan smiled coldly as he activated his flying swords with even greater intensity. This odd black fire was very harmful, seeing that the underwater formation had taken action to stop it from even entering the sea, it was obvious. Shen Kongsheng could only watch helplessly. Fang Yuan willed again as his flying swords split into 2 groups, the other group went to attack his immemorial year beasts. Due to the attack of the daybreak flying swords, the black fire still burned but it had weakened by a very slight amount. Daybreak sword was a rank 8 killer move, yet it nearly had no effect. Fang Yuan continued to attack, but the black fire suddenly changed, transforming into lumps of silver-white mist. Chapter 1909 Shen Kongsheng, Immortal Materials. This black fire can still transform. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light, he shook his head immediately after, the silver-white mist still had a strange aura, it did not belong to any path. The silver-white mist did not seem to be fundamentally different from the black fire, and while enveloped by it, Shen Shang was still going crazy. The two immemorial year beasts were also continuing to howl. When Fang Yuan fired his daybreak flying swords again, he discovered that the power of the daybreak flying swords actually boosted the silver-white mist, causing the latter to increase in size. Suspicious, Fang Yuan immediately changed his mind and went on a furious rampage with wind blades instead. The silver-white mist was weakened again, but the rate of decline was still very small. After the attack lasted for a while, the silver-white mist suddenly turned into 3 large whirlwinds, covering Shen Shang and the 2 immemorial year beasts. Fang Yuan's wind blades shot into the whirlwind and began to boost the latter's power again. Fang Yuan started to experiment and wisely began to swap his tactics. Other GU immortals might have to stop, but Fang Yuan cultivated all paths. He had an astonishing number of immortal GU at his disposal. He also had attainment level in many paths. He was even more skilled at transitioning to different paths. Under Fang Yuan's attack, the strange black fire kept transforming and getting smaller and smaller. The 2 immemorial year beasts were the first to die without their corpses left. Fang Yuan was soon left with only Shen Shang as his target. Wait, Fang Yuan, I have a huge amount of wealth to give to you. Shen Shang could no longer watch this continue. He called out loudly. To his joy, Fang Yuan actually stopped. Fang Yuan looked at Shen Shang and smiled. Do you want me to let your clan's ancestor go? You should know that this is a demonic immortal, the very demonic immortal that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable suppressed personally in the past. You've seen his current state, crazy as a beast, delirious, and consistent with what is described on the merit obelisk. You still want to save him? Shen Shang looked deeply at the imprisoned Shen Shang in the pillar of light and made up his mind. I believe this madness is only temporary. It would be too much of a coincidence if Ancestor Shen Shang happened to fall into permanent madness right when I was about to rescue him, right? And what price can you pay for that? Fang Yuan asked. How about you take a look at this? Shen Shang pulled out an immortal material. It was a bag. The bag was not large and seemed to be the size of a grown man's fist. However, the surface of the bag was covered with a pattern that seemed like gems or blue swirls. If one stared closely, one would notice that these sapphire-like swirls were constantly rotating. But when one came back to one's senses, these lines were still lines, as if the scene had just been an illusion. Fang Yuan, however, raised his eyebrows and lightly smiled. So it's the treasure blue beaver's stomach pouch. Treasure blue beaver was an immemorial desolate beast, often traveling between Eastern Sea and immemorial blue heaven. Now that immemorial blue heaven had shattered, the treasure blue beaver also went extinct. In history, the GU immortal who slaughtered the most treasure blue beavers was Old Immortal Kongju. Old Immortal Kongju was one of the 3 supreme grand masters of refinement path, comparable to long hair ancestor. The treasure blue beaver that he went after and paid attention to was naturally extraordinary. Not to mention, this stomach pouch alone was half an immortal aperture. It contained space path and water path Dao marks. There was a whole small world inside of it, which could hide countless treasures. A GU immortal could obtain it and merge it into his or her immortal aperture, increasing the size of their grotto heaven. Because of this characteristic, the treasure blue beaver had been hunted down and killed extensively by GU immortals. It was no surprise that treasure blue beavers went extinct. The stomach pouch of the treasure blue beaver could be said to be the most valuable thing in its body. And in today's world where treasure blue beavers were extinct, the value of this stomach pouch was even higher than normal. In short, this was an extremely rare and highly valuable treasure. Fang Yuan reached out his hand and directly took this stomach pouch from Shen Shang's hands. The stomach pouch was light and the surface was very slippery. Fang Yuan inspected it and found that nothing was tampered, so he put it into his immortal aperture in front of Shen Shang without any concern. Next, he smiled. Anything else? Shen Shang took a deep breath and pulled out a long black rod with much difficulty, and this one too, catch it. He gathered strength and threw the black rod at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm to catch it. The rod was very heavy, but he also had a lot of strength path Dao marks on him. It was naturally easy. Unlike Shen Shang, who was a pure sound path GU immortal. This black rod was taller than Fang Yuan. It had the thickness of a goose egg. The surface was also very rough. The weight was not light, as if it was a crude iron tool. However, Fang Yuan could feel a dense aura of life from it. This was an ancient desolate plant. But it had no roots, no branches, nor leaves. There was only the trunk. At the top of the trunk, there were countless star marks. Some of them were 5-edged, some 2-edged, compactly arranged. All of them were emitting pale starlight. Falling star rod tree. Fang Yuan spoke. Shen Kongsheng nodded his head and exclaimed, Fang Yuan, your extensive knowledge is to be admired. The growth conditions of this tree were still a mystery as it had been extraordinarily rare and low in quantity since ancient times. It had the unique trait of constantly attracting stars, falling into the trunk of the tree and turning into a single star mark. That was why it was called Falling Star. According to rumors, one of the motives that Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable had when he traveled the world alone was to collect this tree. The value of the Falling Star rod tree did not just lie in itself. By planting it in the immortal aperture, the GU Immortal could use it to create an entire system of orbiting stars. It was a unique ecology that brought incremental gains every year, and the total amount of gains over time, day after day, year after year, was almost impossible to estimate. Like the treasure blue beaver's stomach pouch, Fang Yuan placed the falling star rod tree into the immortal aperture once again. The natural demeanor that he had almost gave Shen Kongsheng the illusion that this rare immemorial desolate plant belonged to Fang Yuan in the first place. What else? Fang Yuan smiled. These alone can't exchange for a rank 8 great expert. Shen Kongsheng gritted his teeth and said, I'm sure this immortal material will be able to satisfy you. This time, he took out a lump of water. The water was constrained in a ball, constantly creating waves. The waves were not just on the surface of the water, but even within the water, it was rising endlessly. Although there were countless waves, they were uncluttered. The water waves rose and fell in unison, advancing at one moment and retreating at the next. It could be called an orderly advance and retreat. When Fang Yuan saw this, his eyes shined with bright light and he said, advancing and retreating tidal water. Indeed, this was one of the 3 great waters of the world, advancing and retreating tidal water. It was a rank 9 immortal material. This point alone made it far more valuable than the treasure blue beaver stomach pouch and the falling star rod tree combined. Not to mention that it had many wonderful uses. I have a total of 12 portions of the advancing and retreating tidal water here, I can give them all to you. Shen Kongsheng gave his offer. Fang Yuan could not help but sigh lightly. Shen clan is worthy of being a super force of Eastern Sea, you really have impressive assets. Shen Kongsheng smiled. We are flattered. But at the next moment, Fang Yuan said, but that's not enough. It's not enough. Shen Kongsheng's pupils shrank as he showed an awkward expression. Fang Yuan sneered and began to use his daybreak swords again, stabbing Shen Sheng one sword at a time. Shen Sheng was still insane and kept on growling. Shen Kongsheng gnashed his teeth as he watched his ancestor being attacked. My ancestor is insane now, he is not the same as an intact rank 8 GU Immortal. We both know that. But as you said before, there should still be times when he doesn't go crazy, shouldn't there? Fang Yuan was still sneering. Fang Yuan, Shen Kongsheng said in a low voice. What? Fang Yuan raised his hand, a large number of daybreak flying swords shot towards Shen Shang. Shen Kongsheng almost gritted his teeth till they shattered. Alright, what else do you want, Immortal GU? Of course I won't be that greedy. Fang Yuan shook his head and said with ease, I want immortal materials, but not like the 3 that you gave me. They are all too highly ranked. I need a large number of rank 6 and 7 immortal materials. The larger the variety and quantity, the better it will be. Shen clan is one of the super forces of Eastern Sea. You own 7 large sea areas and thousands of middle and small sea areas. You'll even have 2 rank 8 existences in the future. This little request should not be hard, right? Of course not. Shen Kongsheng's expression was heavy, but what will our Shen clan get? A crazy rank 8, he is a hidden threat himself. And it's a hidden threat that can even force the merciful Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable to personally take action to eliminate. Shen Kongsheng was definitely a qualified leader. When it came to the clan's interests, he was logical to the point of being almost emotionless. Undeniably, Shen Sheng's insanity had caused his value to plummet immensely. And the terrifying hidden danger he was carrying further reduced this value to almost a negative number. Shen clan wanted as many rank 8s as they could. But they did not want a crazy rank 8 without any reasoning. A rank 8 without sanity was just a burden, unable to differentiate enemy and friend. They were a laughingstock for others, and would even bring calamity to Shen clan because of their reckless killing. Shen Kongsheng saw the hidden threat within Shen Sheng and kept the worry in his heart. He also did not have the slightest confidence that he would be able to solve this problem. Therefore, when he took out these 3 valuable resources in exchange for Shen Sheng, he showed great sincerity. Fang Yuan laughed and pointed his finger at Shen Shang. He is your ancestor, the person you went to great lengths to save. At this point, he paused. Of course, this is by no means the only thing you will get. You'll also gain my friendship. Oh, Shen Kongsheng showed a look of sudden interest. How so? In today's world, with the earth veins frequently shifting and the 5 regions fusing as one, it's bound to be a chaotic world. Although Shen clan is in Eastern Sea, it is by no means a paradise. Eastern Sea has the most resources and wealth that lure people's greed. Even when the 5 regional walls exist, there is a steady stream of GU immortals coming here. What do you think will happen in the future? Fang Yuan spoke casually. In this situation, what is the use of the differentiating righteous path and demonic path? If Shen clan and I join forces, it will be a strong partnership. Of course, we can keep this partnership hidden as much as we want. Your esteemed clan is extremely affluent, while I am free to do anything I want without burden. Central continent is far more powerful than the other 4 regions, so if they attack Eastern Sea in the future, will Shen clan want to surrender or remain self-reliant? Even if you surrender, will all the super forces in Eastern Sea surrender? This is why, there is never a shortage of enemies, but allies like me are extremely rare to come across. The fact that you and I have met here is truly a great opportunity. If we continue to fight, it will only lead to a lose-lose situation. But if we help each other, it will be a win-win situation. Currently, we are dealing with the Paradise Earth True Inheritance and Shen Shang. In the future, we will cooperate to deal with Central Continent and manipulate the entire state of the world. Chapter 1910 Everyone, Immortal Materials. Fang Yuan's words made Shen Kongsheng go silent. The sea breeze ruffled his clothes as he hovered in the air, deep in thought. Fang Yuan stopped attacking with his daybreak swords and allowed him to ponder quietly. The future of the 5 regions' chaotic war had already been foreseen by all the major forces. Shen clan was a super force in Eastern Sea, but in such a chaotic situation, it was also like a rocky boat in a stormy sea. Shen Kongsheng was not stupid. Other leaders of their respective forces also had great foresight. They were considering what direction they should take in the future when chaos ensues. This was a big change, and if one was not careful, the tide of the Great Era would drown all those who did not plan well ahead of the storm. This certainly included super forces. Throughout history, even in relatively peaceful times, countless super forces had disappeared. Not to mention the Great Era when a Venerable would appear, almost all of the existing order would be overturned, and in the midst of this, countless super forces would be destroyed and created. The situation of the 5 regions would become completely altered beyond recognition. How should one attempt to live in such an era? This was something that every GU immortal with foresight was wondering about. Should they cooperate and join forces with Fang Yuan? This was the question Shen Kongsheng had to think about now. In terms of qualifications, Fang Yuan was perfectly qualified to work with Shen clan. In fact, Shen Kongsheng was still a little worried that Shen clan was the unqualified party. Because he himself was not a match for Fang Yuan. But if he rescued Shen Shang and resolved the hidden threat in his body, along with Shen clan's immortal GU house, they would have the foundation to cooperate with Fang Yuan. Shen Kongsheng knew that Shen clan needed external allies like Fang Yuan. It might be unlikely in times of peace, but in the future, when the 5 regions' chaotic war starts, there would be a great chance that Shen clan would be in danger and at the point of extermination. At this time Fang Yuan would certainly be unreliable. It would be a blessing if he did not gang up on Shen clan in the first place. Shen Kongsheng knew very well about Fang Yuan's demonic nature. But what about the time when Shen clan needs to deal with an equivalent super force? For example, Xie clan, Kai clan, Hua clan, Tang clan, and even Song clan. Shen clan was situated near the center of Eastern Sea, surrounded by many super forces. It was as if they were caught in a siege. Without seeking a direction to break out and grow while they could, during the 5 regions' chaotic war, they would end up as fodder for other powerful enemies. Under such circumstances, if Shen clan could pay a large sum of resources in exchange for powerful help like Fang Yuan, why should they hesitate? Fang Yuan possessed a rank 8 immortal GU house, multiple venerable inheritances, and was able to repeatedly trample Heavenly Court underfoot. Such a powerful battle power was what Shen clan needed. It was something every super force desired. If they did not cooperate with Fang Yuan now, what would they do if he worked with their enemies in the future? In the current situation, Heavenly Court had to repair Fate GU. Fang Yuan wanted to deal with Heavenly Court. He needed a large amount of low-ranked immortal materials. This was a great chance to cooperate with him. Just like Fang Yuan said, this was a chance for both Shen clan and himself. Both sides had their own needs. Of course there were still many concerns. Working with a demon like Fang Yuan was indeed very risky. For example, if he goes back on his word in the future, he would still be free to do as he pleased. Nobody including Heavenly Court could do anything about it. What could Shen clan possibly do with him? Moreover, it is impossible to make an alliance agreement here, both sides lacked a basis for trust. But in reality, even if there was an agreement, could they not break it themselves? What if Fang Yuan goes back on his word in the future? As long as they cooperated and achieved mutual benefits, why would Fang Yuan decide to turn on them? Risk was definitely present, but how could anything in the world contain no risk? Risk was secondary, profit was the main thing. Shen Kongsheng would not want anything that was high risk with low returns. But when the risk was great and the reward was also great, Shen Kongsheng would never let it go. The thing that Shen Kongsheng appreciated the most was not Fang Yuan's battle strength, but his decision to share the mission with Miao Mingshen, and even with himself. From this, Shen Kongsheng could tell that Fang Yuan was different from ordinary demonic path GU immortals. He was rational, he had the ability to think and act like the righteous path. Pondering for a long time, Shen Kongsheng nodded slowly with a solemn expression. This is a chance, for both you and me. He, fine, why not take a gamble? In the future, if one remains stagnant, they will fall off. If Ancestor Shen Shang regains his senses, I will definitely try to persuade him to stop attacking you. These are all the low-ranked immortal materials that I currently have, please accept them. Shen Kongsheng displayed his sincerity once again. Fang Yuan kept them all into his immortal aperture, he had stopped using Daybreak Sword, he slowly retreated. Good. I'm going down to retrieve the underwater formation. Retrieving the underwater formation was a lot of work for Fang Yuan, but in the end, he succeeded. Fang Yuan stabbed and injured Shen Shang, although the white gold pillar of light did not stop it, the Daybreak Sword still caused damage to the pillar, thus damaging the underwater formation. The underwater formation was already only 40% left. Shen Shang had broken out of it, which caused a huge opening. In Fang Yuan's eyes, it was full of cracks that he could target. If he continued to fight, before Shen Shang dies, the underwater formation would probably collapse first. Once it collapses, it was very likely to implicate the immortal GU inside. Fang Yuan could not control which immortal GU would be injured or destroyed, but if Regret GU gets destroyed, Fang Yuan's plans would be severely thwarted. This was also one of the reasons why Fang Yuan and Shen Kongsheng had joined forces. The formation was taken away by Fang Yuan, the white gold pillar that extended towards the sky dissipated, while Shen Shang regained his freedom. Ancestor! Shen Kongsheng shouted while retreating. Fang Yuan manipulated myriad-year flying warship and cautiously retreated. Shen Shang was still shrieking, fallen into a state of insanity, there was not the slightest sign of awakening. Shen Kongsheng, do you need me to lend a hand? Fang Yuan asked. No need. Shen Kongsheng stared at Shen Kongsheng, unable to figure out what state or condition he was in. There was nothing he could do, we'd better wait until Ancestor awakens on his own. Fine, Fang Yuan said as he controlled myriad-year flying warship, moving further away. Just at this moment, Shen Shang suddenly moved, his body was like an arrow, flying away. Ancestor! Shen Kongsheng cried out and chased after him. Fang Yuan likewise maneuvered myriad-year flying warship to chase after him. But Shen Shang was extremely fast, myriad-year flying warship was only a little bit faster. Fang Yuan did not dare to use myriad-year flying warship to directly stop Shen Shang. Because of this, Shen Shang managed to fly out of Regret Crying Sea. Shen Kongsheng and Fang Yuan wanted to continue their pursuit, but they were stopped by an invisible barrier. Damn it! Shen Kongsheng's face was livid, he almost cursed out loud. This was the method of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, which he had already experienced before. It prevented the foreign GU immortals from running around, so every mission had a certain limitation on where they could go. This constraint did not take effect on Shen Shang, but it obstructed Fang Yuan and Shen Kongsheng. The two of them could only watch as Shen Shang flew away in a blur, eventually turning into a small black dot in the sky. It looks like he won't come back. Fang Yuan sighed. Shen Kongsheng looked stiff and watched for a long time before finally regaining his usual demeanor. He turned to Fang Yuan and forced a smile. In that case, let's go back first. Fang Yuan consoled, Brother Shen, there is no need to be overly concerned, although your ancestor escaped, he cannot leave Dragon Whale Paradise. If he comes to his senses, he will definitely try to contact you by all means. If he is still insane, that would be even easier for us. The Merit Obelisk will not watch him endanger the environment and people, there will surely be more missions to come, just like this one, to kill your ancestor Shen Shang. Fang Yuan's words were reasonable, Shen Kongsheng listened and nodded repeatedly, the look on his face eased a little. Under the Merit Obelisk, the atmosphere was tense and heavy. Two groups of people were distinctly separated. One group consisted of Miao Ming Shen, Zhang Luozi, Tu Tu Tuo, and the rest. The other group consisted of the Shen clan members, with Ren Shuping and Tong Hua around. I wonder what's going on in Regret Crying Sea. Yeah, that is Fang Yuan after all. This demon has defeated Heavenly Court time and again, he is really scary. My clan has 2 rank 8 GU immortals that can help out each other. Especially with Ancestor Shen Shang here, Fang Yuan isn't anything to fear. Don't forget, the reason why Fang Yuan was able to defeat Heavenly Court was because they were in the River of Time. But our first Supreme Elder is also restricted by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, so he can't fight Fang Yuan anyway. Sigh, the Shen clan GU immortals whispered, while Miao Ming Shen's group remained silent. They were eager to teleport back and see how the battle progressed, but they were afraid that as soon as they teleported over, they would be affected by the horrific aftermath of the battle, and they might get caught up in it and die a terrible death. No one was willing to take a foolish risk, so they were all here anxiously waiting for the results of the battle. 2 white lights flashed as Fang Yuan and Shen Kong Sheng appeared together. They're back. Why don't we see Ancestor Shen Shang? Fang Yuan is still alive, damn it. The immortals' thoughts were shaking as their expressions changed. He, Fang Yuan, thanks to this information of yours, it will save me a lot of time and effort. Shen Kong Sheng exclaimed. Fang Yuan smiled and waved his hand, this is my sincerity. As I said, it will be a win-win situation if you and I cooperate. The group of immortals were shocked again and became dumbfounded. What the heck was this? You two were just fighting each other earlier. Why were you suddenly on good terms? What actually happened? Where was Ancestor Shen Shang? The GU immortals could not help but feel startled and amazed. Shen Kong Sheng laughed. I have reached an agreement with Fang Yuan to cooperate for now. Take out all the immortal materials you have on you. What? The Shen clan GU immortals were dumbfounded. Shen Kong Sheng nodded his head and emphasized, this is the agreement we made, transfer all your rank 6 and 7 immortal materials to him now. First Supreme Elder, the immortals looked at each other. Shen Kong Sheng showed a solemn expression and said in a deep voice, this is an order. The Shen clan GU immortals were speechless. What has happened? Oh great First Supreme Elder, what in the world are you thinking? They were simply wondering if the First Supreme Elder in front of them had been controlled by Fang Yuan. The Shen clan GU immortals dawdled before finally taking out their respective immortal materials and handed them over to Fang Yuan on the spot. Fang Yuan smiled and received them one by one. He knew that the Shen clan GU immortals would definitely not hand over all the immortal materials, but it did not matter, the materials that Fang Yuan needed for his refinement had been mostly obtained already. After Shen clan's GU immortals had finished handing them over, Shen Kong Sheng looked at Ren Shuping and Tong Hua. As2, Ren Shuping could not believe it as his expression turned livid. Shen Kong Sheng's gaze was cold as he nodded, Shen clan will reward you for this. Ren Shuping almost cursed out loud. Your Shen clan is cooperating with Fang Yuan, what does that have to do with me? I came to join your force but you treated me like this. This is just too. Shen Kong Sheng saw Ren Shuping's hesitation and smiled slightly. Do you still not believe in me? Even if you don't trust me, my Shen clan's credibility is not worth your trust. Lord, please forgive me, of course I believe you. It was just that I could not react in time. Ren Shuping laughed and endured the pain while transferring most of his immortal materials to Fang Yuan. Tong Hua had an extremely ugly expression but she had no choice but to follow him. Chapter 1911 Negative Merit Points. Seeing that Ren Shuping and Tong Hua were not spared as they handed their immortal materials to Fang Yuan, Miao Ming Shen and the rest became worried. If Fang Yuan extorted them too, what would they do? Reject him? That was likely impossible. Miao Ming Shen and the rest could not stay in Dragon Whale Paradise forever, they needed to return to Eastern Sea. Even though it was unreasonable for Fang Yuan to take immortal materials from them, it was basically extortion, but for the sake of their future, Miao Ming Shen and the rest still had to lower their heads. In this world, strength was the major deciding factor, followed by logic. Just as Miao Ming Shen and the rest prepared themselves mentally, Fang Yuan ignored them as he looked towards the Merit Obelisk. Shen Kong Sheng had also seemingly forgotten about Miao Ming Shen's group. Only Ren Shuping and Tong Hua looked towards Miao Ming Shen's group, the former had deep hatred while the latter had a complex emotion. Fang Yuan looked at the Merit Obelisk. Undeniably, he had completely failed in this mission to exterminate the demonic immortal Shen Shang. This mission had vanished on the Merit Obelisk. Not only that, Fang Yuan even found that a lot of merit points got deducted. The others were not spared, they had all lost their merit points too. First Supreme Elder, your merit points. Shen Clan's Gu Immortal shouted. Shen Kongsheng had an ashen and solemn expression. He had lost the most merit points, even surpassing Fang Yuan's losses. Even though Fang Yuan fell from his first place position, he still had single-digit merit points. Meanwhile, Shen Kongsheng had negative merit points. This situation surprised Fang Yuan as well. After all, this did not happen in his previous life. Brother Shen, it seems that the merit obelisk punished you the most because you attacked the underwater formation and released Shen Shang. Meanwhile, I did not work properly and even took away the underwater formation, that's why I lost merit points as well. Fang Yuan analyzed. Shen Kongsheng's expression changed, he showed some anxiety. I just received information from the merit obelisk, I need to get a positive amount of merit points in 10 days. Otherwise, I will be kicked out of the Dragon Whale Paradise, I will not be allowed to enter again. Fang Yuan had a thought. With his wisdom path attainment, he quickly analyzed the hidden information behind this. It seems that Dragon Whale Paradise can be explored repeatedly. We can still return, but how do we find it? The biggest problem was finding Dragon Whale Paradise's location in time. Fang Yuan took a glance at Miao Mingshen. Miao Mingshen is able to sense the blue dragon whale and enter it, is this the qualification needed? Long ago, Fang Yuan had made some deductions. Miao Mingshen's ability to sense the blue dragon whale was very mysterious, Fang Yuan could not tell what it was. With Fang Yuan's knowledge and attainment level in many paths, he could tell that even though Miao Mingshen cultivated space path, the method he used was not. This was very strange. Precisely because it was too strange, Fang Yuan was wary and did not capture Miao Mingshen to interrogate him about this method. All sorts of clues pointed out that this method was not his own creation but originated from Dragon Whale Paradise itself, it came from the merit obelisk. Shen Kongsheng looked at his merit points, he frowned at the glaring number, he walked towards the merit obelisk. Fang Yuan, I don't have much time, I can't talk anymore. Fang Yuan nodded. Go ahead, Brother Shen. If you need help, leave an information path Gu worm at the obelisk and I will definitely help. Seeing the two being so friendly, the immortals behind them had weird expressions. Shen Kongsheng was a righteous path leader, while Fang Yuan was a publicly recognized demon in the 5 regions. Was it okay for the two of them to have such a good relationship? Shen Kongsheng heard Fang Yuan's words and smiled at him. He believed Fang Yuan's sincerity, but he believed that the price to get Fang Yuan's help would be extremely high. Thus, if he could resolve the problem, he would rather do it himself. Shen Kongsheng quickly accepted a mid-sized mission and left. In Shen Kongsheng's case, this type of mission was the most efficient in earning merit points. Fang Yuan was the second to walk to the merit obelisk. He continued to choose a large-sized mission. A large-sized mission to reclaim Immortal Gu. At the next moment, he found a brand new mission on the merit obelisk. This mission requested him to take back Immortal Gu. They were the ones that he took after dismantling the underwater formation. Fang Yuan looked at the content of this mission closely. This mission had a lot of details, it described the amount that each Immortal Gu was worth in points. Fang Yuan counted the numbers, it was exactly what he had gained. Next, he browsed through it, he found that this mission was basically created for him personally by the merit obelisk. The truth was, earlier when Fang Yuan dismantled the formation, he had not checked through these Immortal Gu. Now with this mission, he could learn about their details without having to experiment personally. From this, Fang Yuan learned that he gained 3 rank 8 Immortal Gu, rank 7 were in the highest quantity, and a good number of rank 6 Immortal Gu. Each Immortal Gu had a huge resale value, even the lowest rank 6 Immortal Gu was worth 10,000 merit points. The immortals behind him went into waves of gasps. They also saw the mission on the merit obelisk. At once, all of them had varying expressions, they were filled with envy and jealous that could not be concealed. With this exchange rate, Fang Yuan only needed to contribute 1 rank 6 Immortal Gu to get at least 10,000 merit points. This was a huge amount, much more than what Fang Yuan had accumulated earlier. It was absurd. Earlier when manipulating the refinement path formation, they put in effort. After the battle started, they avoided the aftermath of their conflict and expended a lot of immortal essences while feeling great fear. This mission to kill the demonic immortal failed, they did not gain anything. But look at Fang Yuan. He gained a huge number of Immortal Gu, if he exchanged them for merit points, the sum would be unthinkable. Comparison created jealousy. These immortals felt horrible, they were indignant and even angry but were not brave enough to act brazenly in front of the great demon Fang Yuan. Miao Ming Shen and the rest were still fine, but Shen clan's Gu Immortals, Ren Shuping, and Tong Hua felt even worse. After all, the other party had only lost immortal essence. But they had even lost most of their immortal materials. This situation was too bizarre. Not only were there no gains, they even had to expend their own resources. This was truly a terrible feeling. Fang Yuan did not want to give up a single immortal Gu. Immortal Gu were unique, such opportunities seldom knock twice. If he needed merit points, he could simply earn them. Why would he give up on his precious immortal Gu for such petty gains? Most of these immortal Gu were Earth Path. For ordinary Gu Immortals, they would definitely sell those that were not their own path. Immortal Gu required resources to feed after all. But Fang Yuan was different. He cultivated all paths. Earth Path suited him well. Furthermore, he recently gained a lot in Earth Path attainment level. He wondered, should he use these immortal Gu to form a third immortal Gu house? Chapter 1912 Refining Immortal Gu. Earlier, Fang Yuan already had a grand plan to build 3 immortal Gu houses. Right now, he had already created Myriad Year Flying Warship and Cooking Luck Pot. The final immortal Gu house was not created yet. Even though he obtained Divine Bean Palace and Dragon Palace during this period of time, these immortal Gu houses were used by his clones. They were necessary for his plans in the future. He could not use them personally to fight enemies. And most importantly, Divine Bean Palace and Dragon Palace were not suited for his needs. In Fang Yuan's plan, he needed an immortal Gu house that focused on defense. Myriad Year Flying Warship specialized in speed. It made up for Fang Yuan's weakness in movement. It was also crucial for fighting inside the River of Time. Cooking Luck Pot was designed before Qin Ding Ling appeared. Fang Yuan planned to use it to suppress Heavenly Court's weaker luck, to expand his own advantage. The final third immortal Gu house was meant for defense and healing. During the Battle of Fate Gu, there would definitely be intense fights and little time for recovery. Fang Yuan needed a powerful defensive immortal Gu house in the battlefield so that he could gain precious time to heal himself. This immortal Gu house had to be able to resist even Venerable methods to an extent. Earth Path is sturdy, it excels in defense to begin with. I will use these Earth Path immortal Gu to create my third immortal Gu house. That will be perfect. Fang Yuan thought about it and made up his mind. Fang Yuan had no idea now that clone Wu Shuai already obtained a method to create an Earth Path immortal Gu house from his Dream Realm exploration. This immortal Gu house was called Peaceful Soil Heavy Mountain Fortress. It suited his requirements. However, Fang Yuan and his clones had shared attainment but not linked memories. They needed to communicate to gain each other's memories. Eventually, Fang Yuan accepted a large-sized mission to combine 2 sea areas. Who wants to come with me? Fang Yuan did not rush. He turned around and asked. The immortals looked at each other. Me. Miao Ming Shen was the first to react and step forward. Behind him, Gui Qi and the rest also followed. What about you? Fang Yuan looked at the Shen clan Gu Immortals. The Shen clan Gu Immortals were dumbfounded. They had just turned on Fang Yuan earlier. They could not adjust their mindsets so quickly in this period of time. Shen clan's Gu Immortals were not like Miao Ming Shen's group. The latter had experienced the benefits of working with Fang Yuan. In their first cooperation with Fang Yuan, it ended up as a failure. Shen Xiao shook his head. Thank you for the offer, Lord. We would like to look around first. Shen Xiao rejected Fang Yuan politely. The other Shen clan Gu Immortal did not object to his statement. Fang Yuan did not mind it. He smiled towards the last 2 people, asking, Ren Shuping. Tong Hua, what about you? Ren Shuping had a grim expression. He did not speak, only shaking his head. Tong Hua was currently startled and did not dare to say or do anything. Fang Yuan expected them to act like this from the start. After all, he had just taken their immortal materials. This showed Shen Kongsheng's political ability as well. Shen Kongsheng ordered Ren Shuping and Tong Hua to give their immortal materials to Fang Yuan. It seemed to have ruined their relationship, but the truth was, it made them helpless to do anything but stay with Shen clan. In fact, they would even want to stay with Shen clan after leaving Dragon Whale Paradise to replenish their loss of immortal materials. At the same time, this was a way for Shen Kongsheng to suppress Tong Hua and Ren Shuping. It made them realize who was calling the shots. Within Dragon Whale Paradise, they had to obey Shen clan. Even after they leave, they still had to listen to Shen clan. After joining my Shen clan's boat, they still wanted to leave. Life was not that easy. Fang Yuan knew Shen Kongsheng's scheme, but he did not say anything. With or without Ren Shuping and Tong Hua, it did not matter. Fang Yuan's core benefits were untouched. The 5 regional walls were still around, but the super forces were already starting to gather members and accumulate strength. Fang clan took in Old Ghost by Jun and Eagle Concubine, Shen clan took in Ren Shu Ping and Tong Hua. Was there anything weird? Longevity Heaven was even more overbearing. It united the entire Northern Plains GU Immortal world, using the Huang Jin super forces to take in all of Northern Plains lone and demonic immortals. As for Central Continent, they achieved it long ago. The 10 great ancient sects of Central Continent were subsidiaries of Heavenly Court, while most GU immortals or super forces were attached to the 10 great ancient sects, controlled and kept under their watch. Eventually, Fang Yuan brought Miao Ming Shen's group to the mission's location. Floating in the sky, they looked down. The immortals saw these 2 sea areas, one blue and one green, with the blue sea towering high and the green sea hanging low. A large amount of seawater fell from the blue sea and rolled down into the green sea. The seawater in both seas could not mix together. At the place where they met, the blue and green seawater touched each other, emitting a sneering sound, as a huge amount of clouds rose endlessly. At the area where the 2 seas intersected, fish and insects were absent. This was almost a desolate place. It was obvious that there was a major ecological problem. Fang Yuan sighed. It's not simple to combine the 2 sea areas, it is necessary to take into account all the different aspects. We might as well explore and gather information individually. After that, we will assemble and discuss a plan. Miao Mingshen nodded. That is reasonable. Fang Yuan looked at Miao Mingshen and smiled at him. Although his own identity was exposed, Miao Mingshen still cooperated with him. He was able to swiftly change his attitude and continued to follow Fang Yuan's orders. This showed that he was something with great mental fortitude. The immortals scattered and flew around the place, doing their investigations. Fang Yuan was the only one who remained at the same place, using investigative methods while dividing his attention to look into the sovereign immortal aperture. His greatest gain this time was Regret GU. In his last life, he had followed the design of Regret Pool to use Regret GU as the core and create a refinement path GU formation. This life, however, did not need to be so troublesome. Fang Yuan had annexed the entire Langya blessed land and possessed the extremely useful long hair refinement path formation. All he had to do now was to add Regret GU into this formation. The formation certainly needed to be adjusted. Fang Yuan had already deduced it in advance. At the moment, he only had to watch as Regret GU was placed in the vacant core position. Lord, Fang Yuan is a current generation demon, aren't we a little too close to him? In the process of detection, Gui Qiyi took the initiative to fly to the side of Miao Mingshen, looking worried. Miao Mingshen patted Gui Qiyi's shoulder. Old Gui, you want to ask me why I treated Fang Yuan in this manner, almost acting like his subordinate, right? Gui Qiyi smiled in embarrassment. Lord, you are very perceptive. Miao Mingshen's face was slightly solemn and he sighed. I am left with no other choice. This is my first time entering Dragon Whale Paradise, but there was a mishap. Shen clan discovered this place. Do you think they will let this precious land go and allow us to come and explore it again in the future? According to the nature of super forces, they will want to keep it all to themselves. Gui Qiyi said with certainty. Precisely. Miao Mingshen's eyes shined brightly. We will definitely be suppressed and forced to surrender by Shen clan once we go out. If we do not surrender, we will be annihilated. But now we have a choice besides submitting to Shen clan. You refer to Fang Yuan. I see, Lord has great foresight, I am too foolish. Gui Qiyi suddenly realized. As lone immortals who knew such a precious place like the Dragon Whale Paradise, Shen clan would definitely take action against them in the future. Ren Shuping alone was a strong enemy, not to mention the super force Shen clan. Miao Mingshen chose to be close to Fang Yuan in order to use his prestige as a shield and try to preserve the freedom of being a lone immortal. When Shen clan decides to take action against them, they would have to take Fang Yuan's feelings into account. In the worst case, he would give up his status as a lone immortal and become the subordinate of either Fang Yuan or Shen clan. This meant that he still had some room for planning and was not at a dead end. Unlike Ren Shuping and Tong Hua who had joined Shen clan long ago. Without external pressure, the super force would naturally take advantage of them. Could they refuse to hand over the immortal materials when Shen Kongsheng asked them to do so? Did they dare to refuse? By the time the group of immortals reached Fang Yuan, he had already finished arranging Regret GU. Within the sovereign immortal aperture, the hairy man GU immortals were ready. They were high in morale as they prepared themselves to refine a large number of GU. Fang Yuan's time path clone was organizing and planning the immortal material inventory, before fine-tuning and improving the immortal GU recipes according to the immortal materials at hand. Fang Yuan needed to do it himself in his previous life, but with the whole of Langya sect helping him in this life, there was almost no need for him to intervene. Thus, he saved a great deal of time. With the fate battle getting closer and closer, this time was extremely valuable and precious. Chapter 1913 Flame Cloud Pillar. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. The long hair refinement path formation buzzed continuously, the fire within the formation raged towards the sky, heat waves were pushing everywhere. A rank 6 immortal GU was bathed in fire and light, suspended in midair, its surface gradually melting like wax. Hold steady. Langya land spirit controlled the formation as he shouted, open the inventory, let out the immortal material. The hairy man GU immortals controlling the other formation cores quickly opened the inventory doors. Thus, lumps of dog shit flew out of it slowly. These were all immortal materials. Some flickered with starlight, seemingly embedded with blue diamonds, they were the feces of star-desolate hounds. Some had sharp spikes and looked dangerous, they were the feces of remnant heavenly dogs. And there were pure and clean ones that resembled white jade, they were the excrement of the jade statue white hound. Star-desolate hound, remnant heavenly dog, and jade statue white hound were ancient desolate beasts. The dog shit slowly flew into the fire, melting rapidly in the flames. Some turned into smoke, and some were reduced to liquid. The formation activated as 3 hairy man GU immortals took action at once, cooperating to process these dog shit immortal materials. First, smoke spread out to surround the rank 6 immortal GU, before liquid started to flow and gather. Langya land spirit took charge of the refinement, it was extremely stable during the late stage processes. Right when they were about to succeed, when the final portion of immortal material fused into it, an accident occurred. The flame changed color as the incomplete rank 7 immortal GU within broke apart rapidly. Langya land spirit was shocked, he quickly activated the formation. The power of regret GU activated as the color of the flame within the formation returned to normal. Not only that, the incomplete rank 7 immortal GU was also restored to its former state. They only lost that last portion of immortal material. The Langya hairy men calmed their emotions and continued to refine GU. After less than an hour, the flames inside the formation gradually dissipated, and rank 6 immortal GU within was refined into rank 7. Rank 7, dog shit luck. The hairy man GU immortals were very excited while Langya land spirit was also filled with emotions. Originally, they were proud of their refinement path ability. Now with the help of regret GU, they were simply a dragon flying through the air, their advantage expanded out of control. At the same time, in Dragon Whale Paradise, Fang Yuan sat on the cloud with Feng Zhang and the rest, watching Miao Mingshen fly around the place. The ecology of the 2 sea areas had almost been adjusted completely. The final difficulty was that there was still a shattered space between the 2 seas. Miao Mingshen was trying to get rid of this space. By eliminating it, the 2 sea areas could finally fuse into one. Miao Mingshen was a space path GU immortal, he was specialized in dealing with these shattered spaces. Fang Yuan and the rest were free to idle and watch. Oh, immortal GU dog shit luck has been advanced successfully. Progress is smooth. Fang Yuan sensed the commotion within the sovereign immortal aperture. While his main body was doing the merit missions, 3 immortal GU had already advanced inside the sovereign immortal aperture. Their progress was really fast. When ordinary GU immortals refine immortal GU, they would take years to do so, they would be very nervous and careful with each attempt, the risks were huge. But Fang Yuan's situation was different. Langya land spirit, the hairy man GU immortals, long hair refinement path formation, as well as the abundance of immortal materials, it allowed him to refine GU with ease. The 3 immortal GU that he had refined and advanced were from Luck Path, he had obtained them from dismantling cooking Luck Pot. Luck Path was his focus now. The dog shit luck immortal GU that he just advanced was Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's former vital GU, it had an incredibly powerful supplementary effect. The only problem was that it was stuck at rank 6 and could not display its power. Now that it was rank 7, it could be used to some extent. Fang Yuan had rank 8 cultivation level now, his requirement for immortal GU also increased, he needed higher ranked immortal GU. Rank 6 was too low, while rank 7 was barely good enough, rank 8 suited him the most. But if Fang Yuan wanted to refine a rank 8 immortal GU, he would not be able to afford it. The investment needed was too high, and the risks were huge, he was likely to gain nothing. After all, he could not ignore the outside world to cultivate, the external environment was very harsh, if he did not stop Heavenly Court from repairing Fate GU, his situation would deteriorate even further. Currently, rank 7 immortal GU were still barely usable to him. Furthermore, these rank 7 luck path immortal GU that he refined could be used to construct cooking luck pot. At rank 7, cooking luck pot would be able to affect rank 8. Ha! Miao Mingshen suddenly shouted, breaking Fang Yuan's chain of thoughts. Miao Mingshen flashed with a blue halo, it spread out around him and soothed the shattered space, uniting it until the cracks were restored entirely. Lord has amazing methods, Feng Zhang and the rest praised. At this point, the large-sized mission was completed. Outstanding methods, yours are superior to mine. Fang Yuan did not stint on praise. He had Space Path Immortal GU and Space Path methods too, he could even use other paths to mimic the effects of Space Path. But compared to Miao Mingshen, even if he could achieve the same effect, the cost would be higher. After all, experts focused on their own fields, Miao Mingshen was a Space Path cultivator, while Fang Yuan barely researched about Space Path, he made little progress in this path. Miao Mingshen quickly cupped his fists. Lord is too kind, I am not worthy of such praise. Fang Yuan replied with some praise again as everyone went back to the merit obelisk. In this mission, Fang Yuan gained the most benefits, followed by Miao Mingshen. Fang Yuan's merit ranking rose to the top again. Miao Mingshen and the rest were no longer surprised. They had seen Fang Yuan's ranking jump up and down like a monkey. He was often in the first and last place. Fang Yuan's gaze focused. At this point, the other GU immortals were started to accumulate merit points. If Fang Yuan's ranking fell again, he would not be able to get to the first position so easily again. They continued accepting and completing missions. Fang Yuan's merit points soared continuously. Miao Mingshen and the rest followed after him the entire time. Fang Yuan used the advantage of cultivating all paths to resolve problems, while Miao Mingshen and the rest resolved the minor issues for him. This cooperation ensured that Fang Yuan remained at the top of the ranking, his status was getting more unmovable. Miao Mingshen and the rest also benefited, they started to break away from Shen Clan's group, becoming the second group on the ranking list. The first group was naturally Fang Yuan alone. Shen Kongsheng did not turn to Fang Yuan for help in the end, he got back on track by completing multiple mid-sized missions within the allotted time limit. His luck was not bad, he received 1 or 2 sound path-related missions. As for other missions, even though he cultivated sound path, he had many methods to mimic the effects of other paths. Shen Kongsheng was a rank 8 after all, his cultivation level methods were beyond the rest. By the time Shen Kongsheng's ranking rose to the middle, Fang Yuan's cooking luck pot was reassembled already. Rank 7 cooking luck pot. A top-tier immortal GU house that Giant Sun Immortal Venerable personally created, it had the power to affect rank 8. The first thing that Fang Yuan did was to inspect his own luck. Boom! As if he heard a roar that seemingly resounded in his ears, Fang Yuan looked up and saw a giant flame cloud pillar, burning brightly and rising up into the sky, as if it was trying to hold up heaven and earth. His luck was like a giant pillar, flames that were bright red like blood surged. On the surface of the giant pillar, the end of the many traces of the flame carried a touch of black color in it. My strength is rank 8, my battle strength rivals Duke Long, I also have countless immortal GU houses, and killer moves, so my luck is grand and vast. Blood red flame means slaughter. The black color at the ends of the flame means a deadly situation. The deadly black chi has corrupted the surface of the pillar, it is trying to get in, this means that my death threat is coming from an external source. It must be Heavenly Court. Heavenly Court has yet to repair Fate GU, once they succeed, the Black Death Chi will definitely expand by several times, it will eventually corrupt my entire luck pillar. Fang Yuan looked again, within the huge pillar, there were countless faint phantom images flickering continuously. At times, he saw a red lotus, a white crane, a beast phantom, or a lump of soil. Fang Yuan wanted to investigate deeper but he saw that his vision turned blur. Immediately, his body shook and his throat felt wet, he almost spit out blood uncontrollably. Fang Yuan rapidly healed himself and looked above him, he saw that cooking luck pot was floating quietly, there was a vast amount of luck inside while a crack had formed on the surface of the pot, luck was leaking towards the outside. Fang Yuan smiled bitterly to himself internally. His luck was too strong, even though this was rank 7 cooking luck pot, he could only barely see his luck. After he looked at it for a long time, he would suffer backlash and cooking luck pot would also be damaged. The newly created cooking luck pot needed to be fixed now. The crack was huge, the damage was severe, if left unattended, the crack would get larger and larger, he had to fix it immediately. After checking his luck, Fang Yuan was both happy and worried. He was happy that his luck was good, this was not strange, he had immense foundation, as well as methods in luck path. The worry was that his hidden threat had started to appear. If he did not stop Fate Gu from recovering, Fang Yuan's crisis would become more dangerous. And because the fire pillar was burning intensely, it also meant that he could not last too long. These types of burning luck often meant that the Gu Immortal was unrivaled in a short period of time, but it could not last long. After the pillar stops burning, his luck would fall into a period of weakness. But that was in the future. Fang Yuan made some deductions. His luck would be maintained at this level at least until Central Continent's Fate Gu battle. It could even be improved further. Fang Yuan continued to receive missions, while the refinement path Gu Immortals within the Sovereign Immortal Aperture also started to advance Strength Path Immortal Gu. Missions to eliminate the Black Fire started to appear on the Merit Obelisk. After Shen Shang escaped from Regret Crying Sea, he was still in a state of madness. He unconsciously damaged the surroundings of the places he went to. Fang Yuan was very interested in this odd black fire and immediately started to investigate it. But he made no progress. The black fire was very stubborn. Even though it was a small lump, it could transform countless times when attacked. It could last for a long time. As missions to clear the black fire appeared, Fang Yuan, Shen Kongsheng, and the rest started to work together to complete them. Did you notice, this type of mission is getting rarer? On this day, Shen Kongsheng talked to Fang Yuan while dealing with the black fire. Perhaps your ancestor Shen Shang is about to regain his senses. With the location of these missions, we should be able to deduce his whereabouts. Fang Yuan analyzed. Indeed, Shen Kongsheng had an expectant expression. Right at this time, a rank 8 Gu Immortal flew towards them in the sky. Who else could it be but Shen Shang? Ancestor, this is great, you finally regained your senses. I have already negotiated with Fang Yuan, we will work together. Shen Kongsheng was overjoyed. He quickly went over. Shen Shang flew over and nodded towards Fang Yuan. He had a haggard expression. He frowned deeply as he said some shocking things. The situation is quite troublesome. I have a huge problem. Before I resolve it, I need to be sealed again. Fang Yuan, you are proficient in formation path. I would like you to set up a formation to seal me if necessary. Chapter 1914 Super Mission. In the eyes of super forces, there was no such thing as eternal friend or enemy in the world. This is the way of survival of super forces. If this was not followed, super forces would not last for a long time. Naturally, Shen Clan was not such a force, as it had existed even before the era of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable, and had grown and flourished during Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable's time, surviving to this day. As an old generation member of Shen Shang was not opposed to Shen Clan and Fang Yuan joining forces. He even felt joyful about it. This was because none of the Shen Clan members here were a formation path Gu Immortal. If Shen Shang wanted to use a formation to seal himself, he would naturally have to use Fang Yuan's method. Hearing Shen Shang's words, Shen Kongsheng had a weird expression. He had gone to great lengths to save his ancestor, but he did not expect that his ancestor would now instead ask to be sealed by a formation again. However, the reason for this was completely understood by Shen Kongsheng. He was now silent as he looked at Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's face turned a little grim. Shen Shang, although your clan has joined forces with me, the immortal Gu from the underwater formation already belongs to me. Now you are asking me to use these immortal Gu and create an immortal formation to seal you. This is quite hard for me to accept. Shen Kongsheng quickly added, we can negotiate this Fang Yuan. We can even trade immortal Gu. At this point, seeing that Shen Shang had regained his senses, he did not want to give up. Fang Yuan shook his head slowly. He had a serious expression. Shen Kongsheng, did you forget about the contents of our missions earlier? The mission states that we need to eliminate the demonic immortal within the formation, that is Shen Shang. What does that mean? Fang Yuan paused before continuing. It means that the Merit Obelisk does not think that Shen Shang will recover. It has decided that his problem is too severe to treat. Even if I create the formation, it will not help him. Shen Kongsheng's expression changed. He wanted to speak but Shen Shang stopped him. Shen Shang smiled towards Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, no need to have such concerns. I am not asking you to contribute your immortal Gu. The Gu worms we will use for the formation are all mine. Look. Saying so, he took out an immortal Gu from his immortal aperture. The immortal Gu was like a silkworm, pale yellow in color, curled up in a ball and not stretched, making it even more exquisite. Shen Kongsheng may have already explained my situation to you. Shen Shang said to Fang Yuan, I'm most proficient in healing, and this is the human path immortal Gu I created back then, heal injury. Using this as the core, I later developed a human path killer move called Saving dead, healing injuries. If the difficulty isn't too high, I can even revive a dead person on the spot. Fang Yuan looked at the Gu worm in front of him, he felt a little amazed. This was a pure human path immortal Gu, the shocking thing was that this was a genuine rank 8 immortal Gu. Rank 8 human path immortal Gu. Seeing that the immortals were silent, Shen Shang smiled and said again, have you found that human path methods are the most effective in dealing with the black fire? Shen Shang shook his head. Not yet, but we know that healing killer moves will take effect if we use them on the black fire. But whether we use offensive or healing killer moves on the black fire, there is no difference. Shen Shang nodded. Watch. Saying so, a wave of aura burst out of his body. Watching him prepare a killer move, the surrounding Gu immortals quickly retreated with deep alertness. After Shen Shang regained his senses, he had no intention of harming anyone, he slowly stretched out his hand, aiming at the black fire in the distance. His palm suddenly burst out with a stream of bright yellow light. The light stream surged and spiraled forward, it was not fast, but eventually shot into the black fire. The black fire only endured the yellow light for a moment before quickly dissipating. Shen Shang stopped his killer move and said to the group of immortals, as you have just seen, this is my killer move, saving dead, healing injuries. It's true that human path killer moves are quite effective against the black fire. Seeing the truth, Fang Yuan immediately nodded his head, acknowledging Shen Shang's statement. They are indeed. Shen Shang rejoiced. The previous underwater formation was an Earth Path Immortal formation, it was difficult to resolve the problem on Ancestor. But if you use our ancestor's human path Immortal Gu, there will be greater hope. Fang Yuan, however, did not agree just yet, he gazed at Shen Shang, you are a human path quasi-supreme Grand Master. Astonishment flashed in Shen Shang's eyes as he nodded, that is correct. I didn't expect that you are also proficient in human path. Different professions were different worlds, this was the same for paths. Since Fang Yuan could estimate Shen Shang's human path attainment level, it meant that he also had some level of attainment in it. All of the immortals turned their gazes towards Fang Yuan while feeling surprised, they sighed to themselves, this great demon renowned in the world was truly unfathomable. Fang Yuan asked, do you have the formation chart? Shen Shang showed a helpless smile. I have a formation chart but it is incomplete, I seem to have created it myself but I can't remember the entire thing. What do you mean? Shen Shang tensed up. Shen Shang sighed deeply, I've lost my memory. Every time I fall into madness, a part of the memories I grasp will disappear. This is why I need to solve the problem in me as soon as possible, if it's too late, I'm afraid I won't even know who I am anymore. Fang Yuan smiled and said, Shen Shang, you're lucky to have met me. Shen Shang nodded his head and agreed. This is indeed my good luck. It is very difficult to set up human path formation that meets my requirements, there are many conditions to do so. Firstly, you need the human path immortal Gu, secondly, you need to deduce and modify the formation chart, and finally, you need to set up the formation. Setting up the formation requires formation path attainment, deducing and modifying the formation chart requires wisdom path attainment, and because it is a human path immortal formation, it also requires human path attainment. Any other Gu immortal who specializes in formation path, even with rank 8 cultivation, would not be able to satisfy my requirements. But you, Fang Yuan, meet all three of these conditions. So now, I really have to rely on you. Please do help me out. Fang Yuan, whatever reward you need, feel free to ask, my Shen clan will definitely do our best to satisfy you. Shen Shang made a solemn commitment. Fang Yuan nodded. As soon as Shen Shang said his request to set up the immortal formation, he realized that this was a good opportunity. Not only would he be able to obtain a generous amount of immortal materials from Shen clan by just setting up the formation. What he cared more about was Shen clan, Shen Shang, and Shen Shang. By cooperating with Shen clan, he could influence the Eastern CGU immortal world even more deeply and affect the situation of the entire world. Although Fang Yuan's human path attainment level was already Grand Master, he still had no clue on how to deal with those human path killer moves of Heavenly Court. It would be a completely different story if Shen Shang were to deal with them. Heavenly Court was too powerful and had countless years of accumulation. Fang Yuan was not able to resist them alone, he needed the help of others to work together and fight against this giant. Fang Yuan pondered for a moment and said his conditions. To the surprise of Shen Shang and Shen Shang, the conditions Fang Yuan proposed were very relaxed and not harsh at all. Fang Yuan did not have much demand for immortal materials, nor did he ask for immortal Gu. The only condition that had to be fulfilled was the requirement that Shen Kongsheng and Shen Sheng must take action and become the enemy of Heavenly Court to stop it from repairing Fate Gu. But in fact, there was no need for Fang Yuan to bring it up. It was already the consensus of all the super forces in the world that they had to prevent the successful restoration of Fate Gu. Many of the ambitious people in the world were even more worried about Fate Gu than Fang Yuan. After all, none of them were otherworldly demons. Once Heavenly Court succeeds in their plan, their status and position would be unshakable. A few days later, a brand new formation was built at the bottom of the sea. Shen Sheng entered the formation, with the main formation core controlled by Shen Kongsheng and assisted by Fang Yuan. The formation was slowly activated as a stream of profound white light formed chains that tied Shen Sheng like a mummy. Shen Sheng was silent, sitting in a cross-legged position. Soon his entire body was enveloped in a layer of pale white light mist. A moment later, the formation came to a halt. Fang Yuan, Shen Kongsheng and the others found nothing. They could not detect a single bit of black fire within Shen Sheng's body at all. Shen Sheng sighed. I have searched countless times before. The only time this black fire will appear is when I go mad again. Fang Yuan's eyes shimmered uncertainly. Are you sure that you can't remember all the things about the black fire? Shen Sheng just shook his head. Shen Kongsheng sighed. In that case, we will have to wait. This mission will be placed here for now. I will send a person specifically to stay behind to guard the formation. This arrangement was very reasonable. The GU Immortals were restricted in their range of movement in Dragon Whale Paradise and could not travel in and out of places as they wished. Using the Merit Obelisk's teleportation ability, as well as the group title, they were able to communicate instantly, and if Shen Sheng went mad, they would quickly gather together. Those arranged within the formation were bound to be Shen clan's members. Sometimes it was even Shen Kongsheng himself who went to stay guard. With this burden, Shen clan was not Fang Yuan's match at all in the competition for the merit board ranking. Time continued to pass day by day. Fang Yuan's merit points rose from thousands to tens of thousands, and then from tens of thousands to even higher. In the process, he also exchanged for titles from time to time. It was just that the secrets behind many titles were not clear to him either. In the previous life, Miao Ming Shen's group had not explored it to this extent yet, so Fang Yuan could only guess and make deductions. Fortunately, even if his deductions were wrong, the exchanged titles were all of some use. Having so many merit points, Fang Yuan did not exchange for any immortal GU. He did not lack any immortal GU, what he lacked were some rare immortal materials. There were instances where Fang Yuan spent his merit points to exchange for immortal materials from the merit obelisk that would help the hairy man GU Immortal's refinement. Fang Yuan had a large amount of immortal materials, but there were still some missing among the rarer ones. The merit obelisk made up for the last gap in resources. By the time Fang Yuan made a new breakthrough, the first super mission appeared. Get rid of the black fire on the heavenly spine. Fang Yuan was slightly startled. Why is there still black fire that hasn't been eliminated? Some time before, missions regarding the black fire had appeared one after another. The Immortals completed these missions to clean up Shen Sheng's mess. Could it be that this isn't left behind by Shen Sheng? There was a sudden flash of realization in Fang Yuan's mind. It was very simple to verify this conjecture. With the aid of the merit obelisk, Fang Yuan directly teleported to the mission location. At the next moment, he was at the top of the clouds, the highest point in the sky. There was no wind and the sun was warm. Fang Yuan's pupils shrank as he looked up to see countless lumps of black fire burning silently. The scale of the black fire was extremely large, as if this was a field of dark clouds in a rainstorm. The total amount of black fire that Fang Yuan and the Immortals had previously gone to great lengths to annihilate was a minute fraction of the black fire in front of him now. The scale of this black fire is appalling. It cannot have come from Shen Sheng. In that case, there was already a hidden black fire problem in Dragon Whale Paradise from the start. Chapter 1915 Shen Sheng's Inheritance. The black fire was not burning in the air, it was attached to giant bones. The giant bones were milky white and had a sacred aura. The giant bones had a main trunk that extended from east to west. It could pierce through heaven and earth. It was like a dragon of the 9 heavens that stretched beyond Fang Yuan's vision. On both sides of the bone, there were countless neatly arranged branching giant bones that extended outwards, as if they were giant ivory tusks. The entire skeleton was like the spine and ribs of a giant, single-handedly holding up the sky. Heavenly spine, Fang Yuan murmured. The sight before him was imposing. He was underneath the giant bones, being as small as a mosquito. These bones were like gnarled trees, and the black fire gathered like clouds, covering most of the bones. After evaluating it, Fang Yuan figured out a few details. This heavenly spine is actually a rank 9 bone path immortal material. That alone was incredible. The heavenly spine should not be a human bone, which Gu Immortal had such a massive body. Since it was not a human bone, it was a beast bone. But how could there be such a fierce beast that could reach the level of rank 9? It was impossible. Rank 9 was the level of a Venerable. Historically, they only appeared in the human race. Throughout history, there were only 10 of them, while the rest of the races had rank 8 existences at most. There were also immemorial desolate beasts or immemorial desolate plants as well. Was it possible that there were rank 9 desolate beasts or plants in this world? Only such an existence would leave behind such a grade of immortal material after death. Other than that, is it something that Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable created personally? Fang Yuan was filled with questions. This was very unlikely. Because Fang Yuan had already seen through the function of the heavenly spine, its one and only use was to reinforce this dragon whale paradise. If Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable wanted to reinforce this paradise, he could have used earth path methods, or even sound path methods. These were his expertise. Why would he bother to choose bone path? Also, why did Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable set it up like this, to specifically reinforce Dragon Whale Paradise? It's as if Dragon Whale Paradise is very unsafe and could collapse at any moment. But the truth is, the blue dragon whale is a legendary immemorial desolate beast. Its strength is near the pinnacle of the world. There are simply very few existences that can threaten it. If something can threaten its life, would there be a point in reinforcing Dragon Whale Paradise? The biggest question is, why is there such a huge black fire on the back of the heavenly spine? This was clearly not caused by Shen Shang. If Shen Shang was able to leak black fire of this scale, how could he still come back alive and volunteer to seal himself? What kind of connection is there between the black fire here and the black fire on Shen Shang's body? Fang Yuan kept deducing, and in the process, he saw a branching rib completely melt away in the black fire. The black fire was fiercely corroding and constantly destroying the heavenly spine. What would happen if the heavenly spine is completely destroyed? Fang Yuan did not know, but it was definitely not something good. He tried his hand as he manipulated Myriad Year Flying Warship, activating Daybreak Flying Sword to attack the black fire. As he expected, the black fire was like a sea. His attack was like throwing stones into the sea, unable to create any difference. Fang Yuan tried for a while, but he had no choice but to stop. Even a character like him felt overwhelmed at the moment. This was the difficulty of a super mission. After pondering for a bit, Fang Yuan left the place, returned to the starting island. He went over to the underwater formation. Shen Shang was still conscious. Fang Yuan informed him of the situation at the heavenly spine. Do you have any impressions of this place? Fang Yuan inquired. Shen Shang shook his head in distress. No recollection of that at all. But it definitely has a connection with my black fire. If I can figure out the mystery of the black fire, I might be able to gain insight on the plan of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable back then, as well as the deepest secrets of Dragon Whale Paradise. At this point, Shen Shang paused. I want to see it for myself, is that okay? Of course. Fang Yuan responded immediately. Since he had told Shen Shang about this situation, he was not going to hide it. To attempt to complete a super mission, relying on him alone seemed insufficient. He would have to gather the strength of all the Gu Immortals. Soon, the group of immortals gathered together as one and arrived at the heavenly spine. Seeing the sea of black fire clouds that filled the sky, the group of immortals had a change of expression as they marveled at it. The group of immortals tried to exterminate the black fire, but the progress was extremely slight. It seemed that the larger the black fire was, the more difficult it was to eradicate it. Among the immortals, only Shen Shang's human path methods were sufficiently effective, the others were all outmatched by him. After the plan to remove the black fire had lasted for several days, Hua Dai was the first to give up. It was not that she could not take it mentally, but the immortal essence expenditure was too high. This mission is too hard, I suggest we give up. Miao Mingshen secretly approached Fang Yuan and discussed with him in private. Even without him having to say anything, Fang Yuan had already wanted to give up. By now, the immortals had done their best but only managed to eliminate a small area of the black fire. And such a scale was not even 1/1000th of the entire black fire. If I were to truly utilize my rank 8 battle strength, this would certainly be much more efficient, but the result would still be too poor. Instead, I might as well complete large-sized missions one after another. After a few times, I'll be able to accumulate a large amount of merit points. I'm afraid only a Venerable will be able to handle a super mission like this with ease. Fang Yuan decided to give up. Shen Kongsheng and Shen Shang expressed their understanding. But they were unwilling to give up, they only let the other Shen clan Gu immortals follow him. Shen Shang said to Fang Yuan, I still want to explore it further, I will move along the main spine and see if I can find any clue or answer. Fang Yuan looked at him deeply, nodding and leaving directly. Soon, only Shen Shang and Shen Kongsheng were left here at the heavenly spine. Take a walk with me. Shen Shang sighed. Shen Kongsheng followed and took the initiative to ask, Ancestor, you purposely diverted everyone away, did you recall something? Shen Shang shook his head. I am planning to hand over my human path inheritance to you. Shen Kongsheng was startled, he had an ominous feeling from Shen Shang's tone as he quickly said, Ancestor, you need not be in such a hurry. I believe that there will always be a way to resolve the problem in you. Shen Shang smiled slightly. I have not given up hope, but I have to make considerations for our clan. Leaving behind my human path inheritance for the benefit of our clan, it can be considered as me repaying the debt I once owed the clan. Shen Kongsheng was silent. Shen Shang continued. At the underwater formation, I was not able to pass you my inheritance, after all, it was a formation set up by Fang Yuan himself. But here, it should be safe. I won't pass my human path Immortal Gu to you, because I still need to use them. What I'm passing on to you is my experience in cultivation, and the various killer moves and Immortal Gu recipes have created. Shen Kongsheng said solemnly, I will definitely not fail to live up to ancestors' good intentions. Shen Shang smiled bitterly. My memory is fragmented, what I remember is limited. Let's start from the very beginning. I used to major in sound path, but then in an accident, I refined heal injury Immortal Gu, from which I saw that hope of human path. In order to convert to human path, I did many things in secret, all of which were against the rules of the righteous path. Our clan defended me and helped to cover up these incidents, but in the end, I couldn't hide it from Lord Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. When Lord Paradise Earth found me, I was no match for him, I couldn't even take a single blow from him. But Lord Paradise Earth didn't kill me, nor did he imprison me, but instead, because I had spent many years saving lives and helping the injured, he gave me a chance to redeem myself. And he promised me that if I could seize this opportunity, I might even be able to achieve my goal and successfully convert to cultivating human path. And so I came here, I cultivated bitterly in the underwater formation that Lord Paradise Earth had set up. The memories of my non-stop cultivation are completely blurred, I only remember that in the process, I received the help of the undersea formation and repeatedly broke through, progressing steadily. With heal injury Immortal Gu as the foundation, I developed and created saving dead healing injuries, light injuries, heavy injuries, fatal injuries, sensory injuries, 7 laborious injuries, and other killer moves. Finally, one day, I created the killer move Countless Injury Marks. From this killer move, I deduced the Immortal Gu recipe of Injury Mark Immortal Gu. I refined it and replaced my own Vital Gu. With this Immortal Gu, any attacks that cause damage to me will be converted into the respective injury marks. The more injury marks I have, the more I can increase the power of Mutual Injury's killer move. In the battle earlier, Fang Yuan was forced to retreat by me because I used the killer move Mutual Injuries to cause him to be covered in injury marks. Remember that Injury Mark Immortal Gu is the core of my human path inheritance, while Mutual Injuries is my main offensive method. Shen Kongsheng's heart shook as he listened. The true inheritance of human path created by Shen Shang was so profound that it shook him physically and mentally. Ancestor, this true inheritance that you started has great future prospects, perhaps it might be able to create an entirely new sub-path branching from human path. Shen Kongsheng praised heartily. Ha ha ha, Shen Shang laughed proudly as he patted Shen Kongsheng's shoulder. I'm afraid that I won't be able to. The inheritance is left to you. If you are interested in the future, you can switch to human path. If you have no intention of doing so, just choose a suitable successor. Southern Border, Virtue Paradise. A female immortal dressed in a purple silk robe, ornate and mysterious, came down the mountain step by step. Her skin was white as snow and her black hair hung down to her waist, her eyes were like the deep pool, with a sense of sadness shrouding her face. It was Heavenly Court's leader, the person who had Star Constellation chessboard, the #1 Wisdom Path Great Expert in the current world, Fairy Ziwei. At the moment, however, Fairy Ziwei was covered in a thin layer of sweat and looked haggard, but her eyes were shining and her spirit was high. At the foot of the mountain, Lu Weiyin had been waiting for a long time. Lady Ziwei, it seems you've reached your goal in this journey. Fairy Ziwei smiled. This climb has benefited me a lot. I have already obtained benevolence Gu, thank you for your generosity. Lu Weiyin also smiled. Lady Ziwei, it is not to help you, this is for the sake of the world, to maintain the peace of the 5 regions. But alas, in the current world, demonic immortals are rising. Not to mention Fang Yuan, recently in Western Desert, a Blood Path rank 8 great expert has actually appeared, purposely finding trouble with super forces and repeatedly attacking various resource points. They are acting extremely arrogantly, and the methods are extraordinarily terrifying. The chaos is coming, I only hope that this virtue paradise will become an actual paradise safe from the chaos of the world. Fairy Ziwei sighed. I understand what you mean. In the future, there will be generous rewards for you after the changes in the 5 regions. Farewell. Goodbye. Lu Weiyin moved aside and gave way to her departure. Chapter 1916 Ultimate Mission. Dragon Whale Paradise. At the Merit Obelisk, Fang Yuan and Shen Kongsheng stood as they looked at the merit board together. The super mission regarding the Black Fire was still around, but tomorrow was the final day of the 300 days they could stay here. Fang Yuan's merit points stood at the top of the board, he had a huge amount. After he found out about the difficulty of the Black Fire mission, he chose only large and mid-sized missions to earn his merit points. Miao Mingshen and others worked alongside him and gained an abundant amount of points as well. After realizing the difficulty of the super mission, Shen Kongsheng and others wisely learned from Fang Yuan, now their merit points had also accumulated to a considerable amount. 300 days have passed by, it feels like we just arrived here yesterday. Shen Kongsheng smiled bitterly. This was a genuine land of treasures. By completing various missions, the GU Immortals would be able to directly obtain Immortal GU recipes, and various killer moves. Even a rank 8 GU Immortal like Shen Kongsheng was attracted to this place and did not want to leave. But there was no way, once the time limit was up, they would be kicked out of Dragon Whale Paradise. It's a pity that this time, we did not explore all the secrets of Dragon Whale Paradise. Fang Yuan sighed with pity. There were many more strange things about this Dragon Whale Paradise. The Black Fire was one of them. Where did this Black Fire come from? How could it transform to so many different forms? Why could its path not be discerned? And why were human path methods so effective against it? Apart from the Black Fire, where did the heavenly spine left behind by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable originate? What was the true intent of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable? What agreement did Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable and Shen Shang make back then? Shen Shang cultivated human path in the underwater formation, yet he was somehow tainted by the troublesome Black Fire. Also, apart from Shen Shang alone, Fang Yuan did not see any other GU Immortals. Were there no GU Immortals in Dragon Whale Paradise in the first place? And where did the Immortal GU in the Merit Obelisk come from? If they were all naturally produced, the number was simply too large. After a moment of silence, Shen Kongsheng said, "We'll have to leave these secrets for the future when we can explore them again. It's good that we have all exchanged for that title already, so once the Blue Dragon Whale appears in the future, we will be able to sense it and explore it again." Fang Yuan nodded his head, this was indeed a good discovery. Just as he had deduced before, the reason why Miao Mingshen was able to discover the exact location of the Blue Dragon Whale was because of a title. But it was unknown who had taken this title and quietly transferred it to him. Of all the titles provided by the Merit Obelisk, there were very few types of titles that could be transferred. There was also another discovery about titles. After getting a certain title, the GU Immortal could teleport to any location within 100,000 li radius when they leave Dragon Whale Paradise. This was something that Fang Yuan had lied to Miao Mingshen's group before, but it existed in reality. Right at this time, the words on the Merit Obelisk transformed suddenly. Be they small-sized missions, mid-sized missions, or large-sized missions, even super missions were gone, only one ultimate mission was left. Ultimate mission, leave with the Blue Dragon Whale and successfully return. This is, Shen Kongsheng gasped. Fang Yuan frowned. This means that above super missions, there are ultimate missions. This description is so vague, I'm afraid it is much harder than getting rid of the Black Fire. At this time, there was a new transformation on the Merit Obelisk. Shen Kongsheng stared with wide eyes as he read it. The mission does not have a time limit, after receiving it, one can stay in the paradise indefinitely. After completing the ultimate mission, one will obtain the qualifications to become the Merit Obelisk Lord and retain their merit points. Fang Yuan's eyes shined with bright light, he thought to himself, so Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable made his arrangements already to choose the Merit Obelisk Lord. According to his arrangements, I will be able to become the owner of this rank 8 Immortal GU house. It is a pity, a real pity. Fang Yuan felt some regret. He had already uncovered a correct method to obtain the merit obelisk, but his strength was limited. He could not even complete the super mission, let alone the ultimate mission. The ultimate mission was obviously extremely difficult, even a rank 8 GU Immortal would have little hope. This was easy to deduce. The GU Immortals that had come to Dragon Whale Paradise were far more than just Fang Yuan's group. When the previous groups of people came here, some might have chosen to accept this ultimate mission, but the merit obelisk was still in an unknown state. This meant that no one had ever succeeded. There was another reason why Fang Yuan did not intend to accept the mission. It was written on the merit obelisk that the time limit for this mission was indefinite. If it took too long and he waited until he completed the mission before leaving, only to find that Heavenly Court had already completely repaired Fate GU, then what was the point of all this? Sigh, Shen Kongsheng let out a breath of air. He also regained his logic, recognizing the risks involved. He was no longer dreaming about it. Fang Yuan stretched out his arm and pointed at the mission on the merit obelisk, analyzing it. Brother Shen, this ultimate mission has given us some extra information. After choosing this mission, the GU Immortal's personal merit points will be preserved. This means that those who haven't accepted it will have all of their remaining merit points cleared as soon as they leave Dragon Whale Paradise. Shen Kongsheng nodded repeatedly, his heart clenched. I'm afraid that's it. When we first came here, the merit ranking list was empty. As such, the GU Immortals would have to spend as much of their accumulated merit points as possible. But exactly how they would spend it would require some consideration on the part of the GU Immortals themselves. The next day, somewhere in Eastern Sea, 3 white lights flashed. The 3 immortals Fang Yuan, Shen Kongsheng, and Shen Shang appeared. All the GU Immortals gave up on the ultimate mission and chose to leave. However, Miao Ming Shen's group did not leave with Fang Yuan, they still had reservations towards him. Ren Shuping and Tong Hua, on the other hand, left along with the rest of Shen Clan's GU Immortals. After this, these 2 Eastern Sea Lone Immortals were considered to be completely on board and tied to Shen Clan's ship. Fang Yuan turned around and looked back, only to see the sky was empty, the sea was calm, there was nothing behind him. He did not want to give up on this, so he, along with Shen Kongsheng and Shen Shang, kept scouting the surroundings but found nothing after all. The 3 of us deliberately chose the location of the Blue Dragon Whale, but where is the Blue Dragon Whale now? We can stop looking for it. This is the method of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Even though the scene in front of us is very realistic, it might just be an illusion for all we know. Come to speak of it, we have not seen the true appearance of the Blue Dragon Whale until now. The 3 immortals sighed. There were really quite many secrets involving the Blue Dragon Whale. The Blue Dragon Whale was a legendary immemorial beast that was enlightened by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. It gained an immortal aperture and could cultivate. It should have intelligence rivaling ordinary people. But the entire time the GU Immortals explored the paradise, they had never seen the Blue Dragon Whale initiate contact with them. The traces of the Blue Dragon Whale were also very mysterious. When did it appear, how did it disappear, and where did it go in the process? Nobody knew. The 3 GU Immortals here were unable to find out the truth even after they had personally explored Dragon Whale Paradise. Fang Yuan sighed internally. His original plan was to obtain both the Blue Dragon Whale and the Merit Obelisk. But the truth was, he had simply been dreaming. This was a meticulous arrangement set up by Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. It had some sort of mysterious purpose. It was like the Crazed Demon Cave in Northern Plains, which was created by Limitless Demon Venerable himself and was also a huge arrangement. Fang Yuan could only stop at the 8th level and could not enter the most important core, the 9th level. Wait, Crazed Demon Cave, Crazed Demon. Fang Yuan suddenly had a thought. Limitless Demon Venerable created Crazed Demon Cave that had demonic sounds that would cause living beings to go insane. Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable also had a black fire in the Dragon Whale Paradise that could cause insanity. Was there some sort of relationship? Thinking about it, Dragon Whale Paradise had many insane living beings. For example, the Tiger King Salamander that I killed, Fang Yuan pondered. These living beings were beyond saving. Fang Yuan could not find out the reason, he could only kill them. Other than the absence of black fire, they had nearly the same problem as Shen Shang. From this point, it showed how powerful Shen Shang was. This person, even with black fire on him, had only gone insane for some time. He relied on his immense human path foundation and Dao marks to suppress it and regain his clarity. Even Fang Yuan was not confident in achieving this. He knew that even though he had many Dao marks, they were not of human path. Currently speaking, Shen Shang is likely the #1 person in the 5 regions when it comes to human path. Even that old man Zhang Yuan in heavenly court cannot compare to him. Thinking of this, Fang Yuan inevitably considered the fact that the fate battle was not far away. It was likely that Shen Shang could cause some trouble to heavenly court in battle. The three immortals could not detect the blue dragon whale and decided to bid each other farewell. They all had significant gains from their expedition to the dragon whale paradise. But the one who gained the most was undoubtedly Fang Yuan. While alone, Fang Yuan transformed back into the appearance of Qi Si ancestor and returned to Qi Si under concealment. The large formation in the depths of Qi Si was still in operation, and in the formation, he met Wu Shuai, who was guarding the place. Wu Shuai had gone to southern border in order to trade dream realms with Kai clan. Kai Kuyu saw the opportunity and raised the price. Wu Shuai thought of the big picture and did not want to accept Kai Kuyu's price. He planned to settle the score after everything was over. But to think that Wu Yang found out about the loss of the dream realms. He became enraged. He went to Kai Kuyu for a discussion. Kai Kuyu naturally denied all accusations. He refused to admit his involvement. But after this warning, Kai Kuyu had to stop and temporarily end the dream realm transactions. Wu Shuai had no choice but to return to Eastern Sea. Fang Yuan met with Wu Shuai and learned about the current situation of the world. It was quite bad. In southern border, Wu Yang's influence was growing. Because of the mysterious disappearance of the dream realms, Kai Kuyu faced much suspicion. Wu Yang used this chance to consolidate his influence over the entire Southern Alliance. In Western Desert, however, the clone Fang Dichong, who Fang Yuan was placing much hopes on, was currently facing a tough predicament. After he allied with several super forces to repel Heavenly Court, a blood path great expert appeared in Western Desert. He caused chaos everywhere. He seemed to hate super forces. Fang clan became one of his victims. Other than this, an immemorial desolate beast started to cause havoc in Fang clan's ice-fire desert. This immemorial desolate beast was very crafty. Fang clan failed many attempts to capture or kill it. As for profound literature Grotto Heaven, Li Xiaobai was having smooth progress. In Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, Zhan Bu was facing a huge problem. His life was at risk. Chapter 1917 I Am Your Father. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. The sky could not be seen for the last few months. The entire Grotto Heaven was covered in black poisonous smoke. The poisonous smoke covered the entire sky and rumbled continuously, occasionally turned into dragon shapes that rampaged and caused destruction to the world. Within Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, there were anguished cries. The future was bleak. Star Collection City was the largest city in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. It was also now the largest gathering spot of all of humanity here. The walls of Star Collection City towered high. There were many towers within the city. Zhan Bu was standing on the highest tower, looking up at the rumbling poisonous smoke in the sky. He looked exhausted and was bruised all over. Behind him, a female beast warrior was healing his wounds. My main body has adjusted the speed of time flow in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven to become too fast. It caused frequent tribulations to descend. In this Grotto Heaven, any calamity or tribulation will turn into a beast calamity. However, before the former beast calamity is annihilated, the new one will arrive. These beast calamities are spread all over the place, taking the attention of all the GU immortals in the Grotto Heaven. After gradually accumulating, they all merged together and became the monsters they are today. Sigh this time, my main body has made a mistake. Zhan Bu's brows were locked in worry. The combat beast warrior who was treating his wounds advised, "Little Du, you'd better rest. You just fought a fierce battle for 3 consecutive days and nights without sleep. If this continues, no matter how tough your body is, you won't be able to survive." Zhan Bu sighed deeply. "I am now the strongest combat beast warrior here. I must fight to the best of my ability. If I am on the battlefield, fewer people will be sacrificed." "Little Du, you've done well enough. If you hadn't sensed something was wrong and informed everyone beforehand, we would not have had the major cities gather their civilians in advance. In that case, there would definitely be deaths and injuries. You are truly worthy of being our savior. You saved the lives of hundreds of thousands of people," the combat beast warrior said. Even though she was a senior combat beast warrior, she felt deep appreciation and admiration towards this junior Zhan Bu. Zhan Bu had managed to gain the recognition of everyone in this Grotto Heaven during this period. Not only was it because of his high battle strength, but more crucially, his love for civilians, his selfless sacrifice, and his repeated battles on the front lines. Right now, Zhan Bu was a great hero. He was a role model and the idol of all the commoners. But in reality, Zhan Bu was only trying his best to preserve his possessions. Whether it was him or Fang Yuan, they had already regarded Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven as their own property. Although Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven had preserved most of its vitality because of Zombie Yudu's timely warning, the things that had been lost were still enough for Zombie Yudu to feel distress. Here we go again. Zombie Yudu looked tense suddenly. The beast warriors around him also tensed up and looked up at the sky at once. Only to see that in the sky, poisonous smoke fiercely swirled and roared like a giant dragon made of poisonous smoke descended. The dragon's body was so huge that it stretched for 800 feet, and the dragon head was like a small mountain, ruthlessly crashing into Star Collection City on the ground. Once it hit, half of Star Collection City would be instantly destroyed, and after the poisonous smoke spread, more than 100,000 people would die. Of course, Zombie Yudu would not allow this to happen. With an eagle's cry, an arrow-tailed eagle flew out of his immortal aperture. Combat Beast Warrior Transformation. In an instant, he transformed into an eagle-headed person, fiercely flapped his wings as he flew high into the air. Swoosh swoosh swoosh. Zombie Yudu attacked madly, sending out countless wind blades that were extremely sharp and fierce like a storm. Hundreds and thousands of giant wind blades hit the dragon head. The poisonous smoke dragon head lasted for a moment before collapsing. It's Little Do. He helped us again. Worthy of Little Do. The combat beast warriors reacted one after another, expressing praises. The civilians located in various parts of Star Collection City, upon seeing this scene, shouted, "World Savior Zombie Yudu," and soon, such voices quickly spread. All over the city, commotions were rising, filling the entire Star Collection City with frenzied cheers. Zombie Yudu did not relax but looked up into the sky vigilantly, shouting, "Attention everyone, another wave of attack is coming." Poisonous smoke surged and more than a dozen poisonous smoke dragons suddenly appeared, rushing towards Star Collection City. The people's cheering came to an abrupt halt. The combat beast warriors were instantly pale as paper. In the past, the attack was at most 3 to 5 poisonous smoke dragons, but now the number had multiplied fivefold, and it was simply not something they could resist. Is this going to be the end of us? Damn it, I don't want to die. Just at the critical moment, the Star Snail Hall suddenly surged with a blinding starlight, and then a giant suddenly appeared and established itself on the battlefield. The people were overjoyed. Zombie Yudu also pretended to be extremely surprised, but in his mind he already knew, the old fellow is finally willing to take action. This was the current generation combat beast king, using the corpse of the Star Sea Snail to transform. He had the highest battle strength in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven and was also the final trump card. When Fang Yuan had transformed into a bull-headed demon god, he had also fought with the combat beast king. The giant was clad in heavy armor and kept punching. Fist shadows shot out violently, like meteors rushing into the sky. The meteors hit the poisonous smoke dragon heads with extraordinary effect. Several poisonous smoke dragon heads were destroyed on the spot. The momentum of the poisonous smoke dragon heads was ruthlessly stalled, which gave some crucial time for the other combat beast warriors. Next, the giant's feet stomped on the ground and its hands supported the sky. A hemispherical curtain of starlight rose up, enveloping the city. The poisonous smoke dragons were temporarily blocked out by the giant curtain of starlight. One by one the combat beast warriors were enveloped in a layer of blue light, floating out and engaging the poisonous smoke dragons fiercely in battle. The combat beast warriors were merely flesh and blood, they were quickly at a disadvantage. The poisonous smoke giant dragons kept on coming. No matter how many of them were blown up, there would be new poisonous smoke giant dragons produced. If this continues, I'm afraid that today will be the day Star Collection City gets destroyed. Realizing this, the combat beast king made up his mind at last. He called out loudly, his voice echoing through the battlefield, "The situation is urgent, Little Do, go and take the last inheritance. You are our final hope to save everyone today. This old fellow is finally willing to give me the last part of his inheritance." Zombie Yudu sneered in his mind. Currently, he had already obtained the Beast Calamity true inheritance in various important places, and only the last part was missing. He had been in Star Collection City for many days, but the current generation combat beast king had not mentioned anything about it. Zombie Yudu also had to temporarily pretend that he did not know the last part of the inheritance was in Star Collection City. "Little Do, go, I'll be guarding this place. Quickly go, Little Do, it's up to you. We'll buy you time, even if it is the last moment of our lives, we'll do our duty." The combat beast warriors urged. Undeniably, the GU Immortals in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven were really different from the outside world of the 5 regions. They had the spirit to sacrifice and contribute their lives. Zombie Yudu flew to the underground of the Star Snail Hall and arrived at the last altar. The altar shined brightly, the Qilin heavenly spirit appeared all of a sudden. "Oh young man, you are qualified to inherit the entire beast calamity true inheritance. It's time to tell you the truth about the world." The voice of the Qilin heavenly spirit was like that of a young child, crisp and cute. After receiving the memories, Zhan Yudu showed a look of shock and disbelief. "So our world is so small, the true way to use GU worms is not by transformation. This is too unexpected. Heavenly spirit, what do I do now?" The Qilin heavenly spirit stood in front of Zhan Yudu as it lowered its head. "Master, I don't have any method now. Ever since the change in the tributary of the river of time, the tribulations in the grotto heaven had been appearing non-stop. Among these tribulations, there is one myriad tribulation among them. I'm afraid I cannot escape this now. I will open the door now. Master, you need to escape quickly." The moment Zhan Yudu inherited the complete beast calamity true inheritance, the Qilin heavenly spirit acknowledged him as master. Zhan Yudu sighed deeply and was about to open his mouth, but suddenly his expression changed drastically, revealing genuine surprise. "No need, my main body has already arrived." At the critical moment, Fang Yuan's main body finally arrived. Looking at the poisonous smoke everywhere, Fang Yuan also felt a headache. Zhan Yudu ordered the Qilin heavenly spirit to open the grotto heaven's entrance. Fang Yuan came in here with no obstruction. Because he was no longer an intruder, and because the Qilin heavenly spirit acknowledged a master, myriad beings' assimilation transformation was no longer taking effect on Fang Yuan's main body, he was able to come in personally. Thus, the combat beast warriors in the battlefield saw an unimaginable scene. A man was floating in midair, his aura as strong as the sea. The poisonous smoke dragons seemed to be stimulated by the mysterious visitor, most of them turned towards Fang Yuan to kill him. "Who is he? Get away. Oh no, it's too late." The combat beast warriors roared in rage and despair as they watched Fang Yuan being heavily surrounded by the poisonous smoke dragons. At the moment the poisonous smoke dragons descended on him, Fang Yuan made his move. Rumble. In an instant, chi currents surged as wind and waves soared. The sky and earth changed color, all the poisonous smoke receded. Fang Yuan stood proudly in the sky, the poisonous smoke dragons around him dissipated, even the thick layer of poisonous smoke above his head was torn open to expose a huge hole. Bright light shined down through the round hole, causing Fang Yuan to be bathed in sunlight. The combat beast warriors opened their mouths one by one, extremely shocked. As soon as Fang Yuan made his move, he displayed such intense might in battle. Furthermore, he did not use any transformations at all, he had used such great battle strength just by himself. This scene caused the long-standing cultivation thought process of the combat beast warriors to crumble. For a moment, the crowd was at a loss. At this time, Fang Yuan slowly spoke, his voice clearly entering the ears of everyone present. "Little Du, where are you?" "Father is here." The group of immortals were surprised again. Zhan Yudu flew out, looking surprised and teary-eyed. "Father, you've finally come out of seclusion. Please save the world." At the next moment, the entire Star Collection city went into an uproar. It turned out that this mysterious man was actually Zhan Yudu's father, no wonder he was so powerful. This was a secluded expert. They were saved, they were definitely saved. Fang Yuan sighed and spoke in a tone of bitter loss. "I never expected such a disaster to occur this time when I stayed in closed cultivation. It's a pity that I was isolated from the outside world during my seclusion. If I had known earlier, I would never have let these poisonous smoke dragons wreak havoc for so long." After saying that, Fang Yuan struck again and quickly dispersed the entire area of poisonous smoke. However, there was too much poisonous smoke, spreading throughout the grotto heaven. Soon the poisonous smoke was replenished through the smoke at other areas. "Father, the situation is now under control, let's go down and take a rest first," Zhan Yudu said. "Okay." Fang Yuan nodded. Thus, the two of them slowly flew into Star Collection City amidst countless gazes of adoration, longing, awe, and curiosity. Chapter 1918 Crucial Person. Heavenly Court. Star Constellation chessboard was half a foot off the ground, slowly rotating between Fairy Ziwei and Feng Jinhuang, blossoming with brilliant starlight. The specks of starlight were so dazzling that they resembled blue fireflies, lightly jumping, sometimes swirling around the two, sometimes burrowing into their brains and colliding. The two sat opposite each other, both with their eyes closed and brows knitted tightly, pondering over some difficult question. The starlight slowly disappeared, Star Constellation chessboard flew into Fairy Ziwei's hands. Fairy Ziwei slowly opened her eyes, but Feng Jinhuang did not, she fell softly to the ground as she had passed out on the spot. This child, Fairy Ziwei was not nervous, she merely sighed. She knew Feng Jinhuang's condition like the back of her hand. In the end, Feng Jinhuang was only a GU master, unlike Fairy Ziwei who was a rank 8 grade expert. The original deduction speed arranged by Fairy Ziwei was very suitable for Feng Jinhuang. However, Feng Jinhuang insisted that she did not want to slow down the progress and waste Fairy Ziwei's time because of her own reasons. After all, Fairy Ziwei was a key figure in Heavenly Court. When Feng Jinhuang slowly woke up, she found that she had already left the deduction hall and had returned to Central Great Hall. Well done, Huang. Duke Long looked at Feng Jinhuang and was extremely pleased. You have actually improved the pure dream reality seeker physique, eliminating the flaw of this physique entirely. You are indeed worthy of being the fated great dream immortal venerable. Feng Jinhuang was a little embarrassed from the praise. Master, to be honest, I was only able to do so by coincidence. Do you remember the killer move Shatter Dream I created previously? This modification was done based on its results. The entire process was thanks to Lady Ziwei's deductions. I was only playing a minor supplementary role in modifying the pure dream reality seeker physique. Fairy Ziwei smiled. Little Huang, you're too modest. It is precisely because you provided the correct direction that we were able to make our deductions. If not for that, I'm afraid that even if I had made many calculations, I would have gained nothing. Duke Long spoke with great solemnness. Huang, this perfect pure dream reality seeker physique is extremely significant to you, it is the key to your future achievements. You must grasp it well and remember that you must undergo immortal ascension using the pure dream reality seeker physique in the future. Feng Jinhuang had never seen such solemnity from Duke Long before. She nodded her head. Yes master, I will definitely keep that in mind. Duke Long nodded. You can go, I still have important matters to discuss with Fairy Ziwei. This disciple takes her leave. Feng Jinhuang immediately left obediently. This time, Huang was able to obtain the perfect pure dream reality seeker physique. You deserve credit for that. Duke Long said to Fairy Ziwei. It was indeed so. Not only did Fairy Ziwei play a major role in the deduction, but the original pure dream reality seeker physique was also obtained because she looked through the memories of Spectral Soul. Without this foundation, no matter how much inspiration or direction Feng Jinhuang had, she would not be able to make any progress. Fairy Ziwei smiled. This is my duty. If you hadn't captured Spectral Soul alive, I wouldn't have been able to soul search him. Speaking of which, the one Huang has to thank is you, her master. Duke Long shook his head slightly. This is shameful. As a master, I actually have very little to teach. I don't know anything about Dream Path, but fortunately, Huang possesses an extraordinary talent in Dream Path. It is also an honor for me to be able to do something for the future great dream immortal venerable. How has the practice of the killer move benevolent equality gone recently? Fairy Ziwei's face turned solemn. There is no problem with benevolence GU. As for the killer move, I have successfully activated it several times. Did you find anything strange? Duke Long pursued. Fairy Ziwei denied. Not at all. Duke Long intoned. This means that benevolent equality is effective. But why haven't we seen any results? Yes. Fairy Ziwei's eyebrows were knitted. Using benevolent equality to deal with spring-autumn cicada is a plan we have had all along. Looking at Fang Yuan's recent actions, all of them have been well planned and prepared, such as the battle in the River of Time, or the Dragon Palace fight. He had a good head start. He must have been reborn already, but why does no one on our side have memories of the previous life? The effect of benevolent equality was just as the name implied. Once Fairy Ziwei used the killer move, the people that she looked at during the process would experience equivalent changes to their conditions. For example, after Fairy Ziwei used benevolent equality, she saw Fang Yuan's rebirth. At the same time, she looked towards Duke Long. Then if Fang Yuan self-detonated using the killer move Spring-Autumn Success, his memories would go back to his past self. Duke Long would receive the same treatment, his memories would also go back to his former self. We don't know exactly what happened in Fang Yuan's last life. Previously, it was speculated that we couldn't borrow benevolence GU, causing benevolent equality to be unusable. But now it seems we indeed gained this method. So was this result the effect of Fang Yuan's rebirth, and we actually did not gain benevolent equality in our previous life, or was it because something happened to me in the previous life, causing me to not use benevolent equality on him? Fairy Ziwei was in a predicament. A while after being awakened and understanding the current situation, Duke Long proposed to use benevolent equality to deal with Spring-Autumn Cicada. Spring-Autumn Cicada was refined by his disciple, Red Lotus Demon Venerable. Demon Venerable knew the ways to deal with this cicada. The time of Fang Yuan's rebirth was easily calculable by Fairy Ziwei. It was at the time when Heavenly Court attacked Langya Blessed Land. The Fang Yuan before this and the Fang Yuan after this time had a different style of action and a completely different success rate in his plans. Before Heavenly Court attacked Langya Blessed Land, Fang Yuan failed to regain the upper extreme Heavenly Eagle and was trapped by Lu Weiyin. After that, Fang Yuan had countless adequate preparations to deal with Heavenly Court's attack. Heavenly Court's side was repeatedly restrained, their advantages could not be utilized while their disadvantages were infinitely magnified, yet Fang Yuan was just the opposite. Duke Long pondered. Actually, there is another possibility. In the previous life, you successfully used benevolent equality, but you saw no one else but Fang Yuan. Or perhaps this person is not a GU immortal who is loyal to Heavenly Court. There was a slight flicker of light in the eyes of Fairy Ziwei. If that's the case, then who could this crucial person be? Longevity Heaven. BZZZBZZZBZZZ. Orange-yellow light flickered endlessly, enveloping the sky of Longevity Heaven. Next, an aura started from an extremely weak state and grew rapidly, soon filling the world and shaking people's hearts. Such a change had already attracted the attention of Five Elements Grandmaster, Bull Demon, and Flower Lady. Five Elements Grandmaster was a lone cultivator of Northern Plains, but after getting trapped by Longevity Heaven, he felt despair after struggling and decided to join Longevity Heaven. He was not stationed in Longevity Heaven permanently. Bull Demon and Flower Lady were a duo that took the role of North Desolation Immortal together. What happened? Five Elements Grandmaster was very uncertain. Bull Demon and Flower Lady looked at each other, seeing the joy on each other's faces. The latter giggled. West Desolation Immortal Bing Sai Chuan has awakened. Bing Sai Chuan. Five Elements Grandmaster's brows rose, he felt that the name was familiar. At this moment, there was a loud roar, ripples of light flickered in the sky, rainbows extended like rivers as they pierced through the horizons. A figure walked down from the river. He had a tall body and soft facial features, but his eyes were extremely sharp and icy, emitting a cold gaze. From his right ear to the left corner of his lips, there was an ugly scar. It was flickering with white light, while emitting the coldness of 1,000-year profound ice. Five Elements Grandmaster was deeply shocked. I remember now, this is the Bing Sai Chuan who was born in Giant Sun Immortal Venerable's generation. He was a rank 8 legend, a time path great expert. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable had tried 3 times before subduing him. He did not die. He is actually the West Desolation Immortal of Longevity Heaven. Longevity Heaven was a bit different from Heavenly Court. It had 4 Desolation Immortals and 8 extremities, a total of 12 positions. Among which, the 4 Desolation Immortals were only meant for rank 8 GU Immortals, while the 8 extremities needed at least rank 7 cultivation level, and they had to be elites among rank 7s. Greetings, Senior West Desolation. Bull Demon and Flower Lady quickly went to greet him while Five Elements Grandmaster followed after with a reverent expression. West Desolation Immortal Bing Sai Chuan's seniority was simply too high. Bing Sai Chuan went up to the 3, he nodded after looking around. I am awake but I do not have much lifespan, time is limited. Give me the information of the current world, I need to know about it. Longevity Heaven had very comprehensive information. They had detailed information of the collapse of 88 Truyong Building, the reappearance of Dragon Palace in Eastern Sea, and Heavenly Court's Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Fang Yuan he actually extorted Southern Border's Righteous Path using rank 7 cultivation level, while causing huge problems for Heavenly Court time and again in the River of Time. He is truly a world-shaking person. Qi Si ancestor able to fight equally with Duke Long. This is very rare. Eastern Sea has a lot of hidden depths. There's also Fang Di Chong, he actually refined Divine Bean Palace. Haha, this world really has no lack of experts. After gaining intel, Bing Sai Chuan laughed loudly with a heroic aura. After his laughter, Bing Sai Chuan's eyes shined with bright light. Since Fang Yuan is the person who destroyed 88 Truyong Building, he is the crucial person who Lord Giant Sun Immortal Venerable mentioned. Bull Demon, Flower Lady, and Five Elements Grandmaster were stunned. Bing Sai Chuan's words involved the deep secrets of history. Did Giant Sun Immortal Venerable predict that Fang Yuan would destroy 88 Truyong Building? If he could predict that, why would he let Fang Yuan succeed? Bing Sai Chuan did not answer them. He gave his orders. We cannot let Fate GU be repaired completely, we need to stop them during this Refinement Path Convention. We have to contact Fang Yuan now and make an alliance. What? The 3 immortals were shocked. Bing Sai Chuan frowned. Can any of you contact Fang Yuan? The 3 immortals shook their heads in a daze. Bing Sai Chuan's brows furrowed even tighter. Then what are you waiting for? Do I have to search for the way to contact Fang Yuan myself? In the last life, Langya sect had joined Longevity Heaven, so they easily obtained a way to contact Fang Yuan from Langya land spirit. But now, Fang Yuan absorbed the entire four races variant human alliance including Langya Blessed Land. Longevity Heaven was not involved. Bing Sai Chuan wanted to contact Fang Yuan but he was stuck at the first step. Chapter 1919 Immortal GU Responsive Luck. Inside the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. Mini Northern Plains. Are you all prepared? Shui stood in the snow crystal formation as she observed the tens of frost chi lumps. We are prepared, Supreme Elder. A female snowman rank 5 GU master knelt on the ground, speaking reverently. Then go, remember to attend to them enthusiastically. Of course, if you suffer any misgivings, do not take it wordlessly. Shui thought about it and said. Yes, the female snowman GU master left. Shui sighed a little. Ever since she had been placed here by Fang Yuan, she had been dedicated to the development of the snowman tribe. With the aid of Fang Yuan's snow crystal formation, Shui worked hard and the size of the snowman tribe quadrupled under her command, turning into a huge variant human tribe. My husband has finally brought in the human race. If I had the time, I'd love to go see for myself. Unfortunately, I can't get away here. Shui looked at the frost chi, she felt downcast. She manipulated the formation, carefully maintaining it. Ever since Fang Yuan annexed Chi Si Grotto Heaven, his Chi Path Dao marks had risen greatly, causing a tremendous impact to the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. The effects had yet to stop, still gradually transforming every aspect of the Sovereign Immortal Aperture. For example, the Snowman tribe with Shui in charge had been experiencing a surge in frost chi. Every few months, Shui had to come here personally to manipulate the formation and maintain it. If the frost chi gathers to a certain extent, beyond the limit, this frost chi would turn into a frost tide. A frost tide would be a calamity for the physically weak snowmen. As for the surroundings, it would be heavily damaged too. In fact, when the frost tide spreads out, it would be a problem for the whole of mini northern plains. Because of the regional walls, the other 4 mini regions would not be affected by the frost tide. Not long ago, Fang Yuan sent a letter to inform Shui that a city would be placed near the Snowman tribe's location. By then, he would need the Snowman tribe to gather their people and send gifts while interacting with the newcomers. Shui naturally followed his instructions, but all along, her variant human group had been suppressed by humans all along. Asking her to interact with the humans now made her feel some lingering fear from her past. If possible, Shui would like the whole of mini northern plains to be ruled by snowmen. But that was just an impossible dream. Fang Yuan was a human after all. When his immortal aperture gets developed to an extent, he would bring in humans to live. That was the sign that an immortal aperture was prospering and growing. The Snowman tribe's group had just moved out when mini Western Desert's Inkman group arrived at its destination. As the Inkman city lord, Mo Tan Sang flew high in the sky, quietly awaiting. It's coming. Suddenly, his eyes shined with bright light. In the sky, a dazzling rainbow light flashed brightly. Around this colored profound light, the earth pushed out in all directions. The colored profound light grew larger and larger, gradually revealing the vague illusory phantom of a city. This phantom became more and more real. Eventually the brilliant light dissipated, adding thousands of miles of land to the original location. A city was located at the center of the newly added land. It was the sacred eagle city of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. The Inkman GU master group was already kneeling on the ground, praising and cheering at such a mystical sight. Only when Mo Tan Sang gave the orders did they stand up. The gates of Sacred Eagle City opened. The city folks inside had already been informed and quickly gathered into a welcoming party. The two parties met at the city gates, as contact officially began. The people of Sacred Eagle City curiously sized up the dark-skinned, white-haired Inkman. The Inkman gradually let go of their worries. They had also been living under the heavy pressure of the human race for a long time, but they did not expect this new group of people to be so easygoing. The conversation stemmed from a place of equality, which made the Inkman happy from the bottom of their hearts. Is this Lord Mo Tan Sang? The eagle warrior who was in charge of Sacred Eagle City flew towards Mo Tan Sang. From now on, we will be in your care. Likewise, Mo Tan Sang smiled. You don't have to be too polite, we're all allies here. Mini Blue Heaven. The cloud soil gathered into a small hanging continent. After the starlight flashed, a majestic city was suddenly added to this originally empty continent. This city was scarred and devastated. It was Star Collection City, which had resisted the poisonous smoke Grand Tribulation earlier. In the center of Star Collection City, there was already a brand new Star Snail Hall, which was a Immortal GU house that Fang Yuan had purposely built. As for the Star Sea Snail that originally served as the hall, it had been put into the treasury by Fang Yuan. This was an immemorial desolate beast, and the shell of the snail was in rank 8 immortal material. If it was handed over to the old combat beast king, he would not know how to process it, he would only let the Dao marks on the immortal material dissipate naturally. That would be too wasteful. Is this your father's world? It is so huge. The old combat beast king quietly left Star Collection City as he flew around, sighing to himself deeply. Accompanying him was none other than Zhen Budu. This is mini blue heaven. There are 9 other places like this in my father's immortal aperture world. I'm sure we'll be able to live well here. The old combat beast king nodded and asked, how do we contact the others? Use this. It is an information path mortal GU. Zhen Budu took out a mortal GU and handed it to the old combat beast king. The combat beast king's cultivation was at rank 8 but his knowledge was very shallow. This simple information path mortal GU made him marvel in awe. I can't believe that GU worms can be this useful. This is how they should be used. The beast calamity true inheritance that I received says this as well. Zhen Budu smiled shyly. Please don't blame me, Grandpa Combat Beast King, my father wanted me to keep this as a secret. The old combat beast king nodded. I understand. I wonder what your father wants me to do. For the time being, we would like Grandpa Combat Beast King and the other warriors to learn the traditional GU cultivation method. This place is not safe, we have strong enemies outside. Zhen Budu said vaguely. The old combat beast king was shook. Your father is willing to impart the true cultivation way to us. Of course he is. We are all allies. Zhen Budu smiled. Fang Yuan annexed Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven. Getting rid of the myriad tribulation in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven expended a lot of his immortal essence and effort, but it could not stop Fang Yuan. He almost single-handedly got rid of the Grotto Heaven's crisis. Fang Yuan's reputation also rose to its peak. Next, with the help of Zhen Budu, the owner of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, he successfully annexed Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven and brought it into his sovereign immortal aperture. Different from the previous life, Fang Yuan had already made all the preparations now, he deduced everything in advance. After annexing the Grotto Heaven, he split up the Grotto Heaven and placed the different parts all over the sovereign immortal aperture. Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven had several major gathering spots, some contained a portion of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven's true inheritance. Fang Yuan placed Sacred Eagle City, Dark Valley, Spirit Spring Forest, Mountain Cliff City, Star Collection City and Mini Western Desert, Mini Southern Border, Mini Central Continent, Mini Northern Plains and Mini Blue Heaven respectively. Of course, other than that, the many major resource points in Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven were also handled properly by Fang Yuan. Fully absorbing this Grotto Heaven would take time. The fusing of ecologies needed to reach a balance, time was needed for that, as well as the patience of the GU Immortals managing the place. Fang Yuan obtained myriad beings assimilation transformation again. The Qilin Heavenly Spirit was also alive at the largest piece of territory. Fang Yuan gained more than 200,000 transformation path Dao marks from this. In the previous life, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven gave him over 100,000 transformation path Dao marks only. But in this life, because of Fang Yuan's arrangements, there was ample time to trigger the second myriad tribulation. The original owner of Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven only survived the first myriad tribulation before dying. By the time Fang Yuan discovered Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven, its second myriad tribulation was approaching. After passing the second myriad tribulation, Beast Calamity Grotto Heaven gained another 100,000 Dao marks. Thus, in terms of transformation path Dao marks, Fang Yuan gained about double of them this time. The more Dao marks he had, the better it was for him. Oh, Bing Sai Chuan has awakened, he wants to cooperate. Fang Yuan received this information and smiled. Even though Longevity Heaven could not contact Fang Yuan directly, they found a method to do so. They knew that Southern Border's righteous path had been extorted by him before, they definitely had ways to contact him. Thus, by finding one of Southern Border's super forces, and paying a high price, they would gain this method. Bing Sai Chuan immediately talked to Fang Yuan, saying that he wished to cooperate with him. In the previous life, Fang Yuan was a little puzzled, but this time, he understood the reason. Bing Sai Chuan wants to work together and gather everyone's strength to try to snatch Fate GU away. However, I need them to attack Heavenly Court as well, they will test the water for me and lure away some firepower. Fang Yuan was wary about many things in Heavenly Court. For example, Genesis Lotus, painting path method, or the game of chess between two venerables in Imperfection Regret Pavilion. Fang Yuan agreed to cooperate with Bing Sai Chuan. This instead made Bing Sai Chuan have some doubts. Why did Fang Yuan agree to this so readily? He is likely suspicious of us, he wants to see our future actions. Bing Sai Chuan frowned, he felt that he should find an opportunity to fight together with Fang Yuan and show his sincerity. But after thinking about it, Bing Sai Chuan could not find any suitable targets. In the previous life, he had no such worries. Be it the River of Time, Stone Lotus Island or Dragon Palace, he could ally with Fang Yuan to fight. But in this life, Fang Yuan changed many things. He obtained Dragon Palace in advance, the River of Time battle ended in Heavenly Court's defeat, they had not recovered even now, still being fearful to step into this forbidden ground that Fang Yuan personally created. Heavenly Court. Qin Dingling looked at Feng Zhuzhe, smiling, tell me, since you approached me personally, what is your request? Towards this exemplary junior who was also the Tao guardian of the future Great Dream Immortal Venerable, Qin Dingling was quite appreciative. Feng Zhuzhe hesitated for a while before speaking. I would like to borrow a rank 8 luck path Immortal GU from senior, responsive luck. Qin Dingling was slightly surprised, before she realized. Sure, I agree to your request. Saying so, she handed responsive luck Immortal GU to Feng Zhuzhe on the spot. Feng Zhuzhe was slightly stunned. Qin Dingling said, I know that you are creating a new killer move, this responsive luck Immortal GU must be very helpful to you, otherwise, with your nature, you will not ask to borrow my GU worm. Feng Zhuzhe nodded, receiving responsive luck Immortal GU, that is correct. He had already created an 80% complete Destiny Song, he found that rank 8 Fate Armor Immortal GU could not shoulder the grand and vast Destiny Song, he needed another luck path Immortal GU as the core. With Feng Zhuzhe's current understanding, responsive luck Immortal GU was the most suitable for him. Qin Dingling looked at this Immortal GU and sighed. The Immortal GU recipe for responsive luck Immortal GU was not actually created by me, I had secretly taken a look at the manuscript written by Giant Sun Immortal Venerable. In the future, if you use this GU to deal with the Northern Plains GU Immortals, we will give them a taste of their own medicine. I will give this Immortal GU to you. Feng Zhuzhe thanked Qin Dingling as he said. This GU is not enough, I will need to head to the River of Time, view the past and present, and observe the paths of all lives. Qin Dingling frowned. According to what I know, even though Heavenly Court is working at full speed, we have only created one time path Immortal GU house as of now. Going to the River of Time now is simply courting death. Let me take a look at your luck, to try to find a hidden chance for you. Feng Zhuzhe thanked her once again. Chapter 1920 Convention begins. The River of Time flowed endlessly. Heavenly Court. Discussion Hall. Heavenly Court's GU Immortals gathered. There were few GU Immortals who did not come. This was the largest gathering that Heavenly Court had in the last 1,000 years. Duke Long sat at the highest seat. He looked around. We have explained our plan, go ahead and execute it. Whether we can restore the glory of Heavenly Court will depend on everyone's hard work. We will do our best. All of the Immortals resounded, they were very motivated. The Central Continent Refinement Path Convention that would affect all 5 regions and the future of the world was about to begin. Once news got out, the world was shaken. Thanks to Fang Yuan's intentional spread of news, all the GU Immortals knew of the importance of this Refinement Path Convention. But mortal GU Masters had no idea, they thought that this Central Continent Refinement Path Convention was like the usual ones in the past. GU Masters started to move, heading towards Central Continent. Each Central Continent Refinement Path Convention would attract the GU Masters of the other 4 regions to participate, it involved all 5 regions and was a huge event. But this time was slightly different from the beginning. Western Desert. A huge group of GU Masters stood in front of the regional wall. A youngster sighed loudly. Father, if I were not seeing this personally, I simply could not believe there is such an amazing thing in the world. This is the regional wall. Once we get past this, we will reach Central Continent. The middle-aged GU Master beside the youngster said. After entering the regional wall, our vision will be restricted, by then, you need to stay by my side and not get lost. Understood? Yes father, I will. The youngster nodded obediently. Zhang Quan looked at his son Zhang Ping, feeling very proud. His son had strong refinement path talent, for his future development, Zhang Quan brought him on a journey to participate in the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention, to train his refinement path ability and also to gain some knowledge. What sound is that? At the next moment, Zhang Quan looked up in confusion. Next, his pupils shrunk as he showed great shock. A huge meteor that was the size of a hill crashed down towards them. The surrounding GU masters screamed in fear. Why is this happening? We're doomed. Instantly, Zhang Quan felt great regret. If he had decided to travel to Central Continent alone, his son would not die with him. Boom! The meteor crashed down on the ground, causing an earth-shaking explosion. Zhang Quan and the rest died without intact corpses. In the sky, an Inkman GU Immortal looked around coldly before leaving. Similar scenes were happening all over the 5 regions. These GU Immortals were all Fang Yuan's subordinates. They had received his order to prevent people from joining the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Next, Fang Yuan publicly announced in Treasure Yellow Heaven, "If anyone joins the Refinement Path Convention, you will be making an enemy out of me. One day, I will find you and settle the score." The GU Immortals of the 5 regions sighed in amazement. The Central Continent Refinement Path Convention had just started, but Fang Yuan made his move already. As expected of the little demon Venerable, he was rampant and brutal. Heavenly Court was enraged. Because the assault of Fang Yuan's subordinates would cause much fewer GU masters to join the convention, it would be disadvantageous in repairing Fate GU. Different from the previous life, Fang Yuan ordered his subordinates to only move around Northern Plains, Southern Border, Western Desert, and Eastern Sea. This way, Central Continent and Heavenly Court's GU Immortals could not head to the other 4 regions and save these people. During this period of time, if Central Continent and Heavenly Court's GU Immortals head to the other 4 regions, they would be angering and provoking the other 4 regions' super forces. Heavenly Court could only accuse Fang Yuan of his heinous crimes and communicate with the righteous paths of the other regions to get them to take revenge on this terribly demonic act. The righteous paths of the other 4 regions responded loudly, but they took little action. Even if they did anything, they were merely doing it superficially, creating a lot of noise but little effect. In the previous life, Fang Yuan acted in Central Continent itself and was faced with much obstruction not long after. In this life, Fang Yuan took action in advance. He immediately gained huge results in battle. The waves of GU masters rushing to Central Continent immediately ceased. Nobody wanted to die just because of one Central Continent Refinement Path Convention. Furthermore, the 4 regions' super forces had also stopped their own GU masters from joining the convention. It caused this current Refinement Path Convention to be very sparse in attendance. Central Continent, Unification Sect. As one of the sign-up locations of the Refinement Path Convention, it was filled with people in commotion as well. The Refinement Path Convention is about to start. Strange, why do I not see people from the other 4 regions? Luo Sheng sighed. In the previous Refinement Path Convention, he had lost to a Northern Plains GU Master by chance. This time, he was trying to find that Northern Plains GU Master again for a rematch. Luo Sheng was eager to prove himself. But Central Continent is too large, the 5 regions are too broad, geniuses are everywhere. He looked around and found that 3 people here were tough opponents for himself. One was an old man that had been reputed for many years. He was also a Refinement Path Master. Another was a young man, and the last one was a young girl. The former had performed well in the previous convention, while the latter was a rising star that had emerged in the last 10 years. This Refinement Path Convention is still going to be that intense. I must make good use of this opportunity. I cannot fail anymore. I will prove myself. I will let my wife and children be proud. Boom! At the next moment, a huge ancient year beast descended from the sky, crushing the entire hall to ruin. All of his grand ambitions vanished into thin air. The young GU master with a great future, the genius young girl who was thought of highly, they all died pitifully on the spot. Their bones and flesh were mashed together, even the corpses could not be seen clearly. In the sky, Bai Ningbing's figure flashed rapidly. She was in charge of moving around. Every destination she reached, she released ancient year beasts. As for the result, Fang Yuan said that she did not need to be concerned with that. Earlier, Fang Yuan sent variant human GU Immortals to kill GU Master participants in advance. Now, he ordered Shadow Sect's Immortals to infiltrate Central Continent and use ancient year beasts to destroy the sign-up locations, to create bloodshed as countless elite GU Masters face their end. After learning of this situation, Heavenly Court immediately spread news of the truth. There really are immortals in this world. The culprit behind everything is Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan, you killed my father. I will definitely take revenge for this immense hatred. Even rank 5s are just ants if they do not become GU immortals. Immortals are high and mighty. Why must I sacrifice my life for a mere Refinement Path Convention? Forget it, forget it. I must go. If I do not go, wouldn't I fall into that Fang Yuan's scheme? Some were fearful, some felt emotional, some backed out, while some became determined. They are trying to gather the rage of the people and accumulate human will. In the previous life, Fang Yuan did not know what Heavenly Court was doing, but now, he was deeply aware. Fang Yuan quickly ordered his subordinates to stop. Heavenly Court and Central Continent's GU Immortals gathered rage and hatred. They were about to take action when they found that Fang Yuan's subordinates all vanished without a trace. Isn't Fang Yuan trying to destroy the Central Continent Refinement Path Convention? Why did he stop? The four regions' super forces who were watching the show felt very perplexed. In a secret meeting in Southern Border, Wu Yang analyzed some of Fang Yuan's thoughts. Fang Yuan had an early advantage. If he continues, Heavenly Court will deduce the locations of his attackers. He will lose many subordinates. Then will Fang Yuan attack again? Someone asked. Of course, Wu Yang said without doubt, but before that, we need to move out secretly too. In the previous life, Fang Yuan attacked personally and caused destruction. Not long after, he was marked by the Killer Move People's accusation. He had to hide while his subordinates like Bai Ningbing took action. This time, Fang Yuan lurked and concealed himself while ordering his subordinates to cause destruction and bloodshed. Others were not like Fang Yuan who could defend against Fairy Z-Wei's deductions using wisdom path methods. Thus, Fang Yuan ordered Bai Ningbing and the rest to hide themselves after causing some level of destruction. The Refinement Path Convention had just started. The huge battle had not begun. These subordinates were still very useful to Fang Yuan.